Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
9-7. Line drive. Right center. That's going to get 2 home. Trevor Story heading for second base. 2-run score. And the Red Sox open it up. All sorts of breathing room. 11-7.
Hitters, get out of here, ball. Get out of here.
Towering fly ball to left center. And can you believe it? George Springer has done it again.
Left center field, and that will get down and split Conforto and Paez, and that's going to score 2. Jared Triolo brings home a pair with his second double of the night, gives the Buccos a 7-4 lead.
Here's Tucker out to left field, going back to the track. It's gone!
High fly ball. Altuve back on the track, looking up. See ya! A grand slam for Grisham. His magical season continues. It's 6-0 Yanks.
And with that, a good afternoon and welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show, everybody. AM 1310 WDPN. You can watch and listen to us live on the WDPN Facebook page, our X page, and of course, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Welcome in, everybody. Sam Bourquin here, Ryan Rainsberg over there. Our phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can also text the show anytime you wish, 330-924-7088. And you can also leave some comments for us on all of our 1310 WDPN social media platforms. Got a big show for you today, right? The MLB is in their stretch run now. Most teams got about 30 games left to go. And it's going to be a fight to the finish. Some divisions are sewn up. Some are not. There's wild cards to be had. There's jockeying for seeding to be had. So it's going to be a fun 30 days. Unfortunately, the Guardians are kind of going the wrong way here. They're pulling a Jim Marshall. They're going the wrong way. And they lost again last night in a wild game at Fenway. 11-7 was the final score. And Slade Ciccone get lit up like a Christmas tree. He has not been pitching well. So the Guardians will finish up their series against the Red Sox tonight. And then they'll be moving on to Tampa to take on the Rays Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But not looking good for the Guardians right now as far as the playoffs are concerned. They're 68-69, still 4 games behind Seattle for that third and last wild card spot. And of course, you also have to jump Tampa, you have to jump Kansas City, and you have to jump Texas. And then you got to catch Seattle. So it's not looking good. Not looking good, but we'll see how it plays out. All right, coming up on the show today, Steve King from Browns Daily Dose. He will be joining us at 4:35 this afternoon. We are getting close. We're getting close. Browns and Bengals are coming up Sunday at 1 o'clock at the stadium. Tomorrow night is the actual kickoff for the 2025 NFL season. Believe it or not, tomorrow night we play for real. And it's the Dallas Cowboys in all their glory on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Cowboys right now are a 7.5-point underdog in that ball game. Philly will be getting their rings. I'm sure there will be a lot of hoopla, a lot of pomp and circumstance, and then they'll finally get them to put the ball on the tee around 8:20, 8:30 tomorrow night in Philadelphia. So the NFL season's ready to go. And then there's a game Friday. For obvious money-making reasons, the NFL felt the need to put the Chiefs and the Chargers in Brazil Friday night. So thanks for that. And then, hey, no NFL games on Saturday. Can you believe they're going to go a day without it? And then Sunday is the big stretch of games, including the Bengals and the Brownies at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time up in Cleveland. Joe Burrow squaring off against Joe Flacco. Kevin Stefanski and Zach Taylor. Jerry Jeudy, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Folks, I'm telling you right now, I think that there's going to be a boatload of points on Sunday afternoon. Something just tells me a lot of points. I'm not picking the Browns to win. I don't even know if I will pick them to cover. But I do know there will be a lot of points on the board Sunday up in Cleveland. So take that for what it's worth. But Steve King will join us from Browns Daily Dose coming up today at 4:35. We'll be talking ball with Hall. Antonio Hall will join us at 5:35 today. Q92 Radio Sports. We will be breaking down the high school football scene. We're going to talk about Fairless today. We're going to talk the hot start by the Perry Panthers today. We'll take a little look at Louisville today, and we'll get you ready for week 3 of the high school football season coming up here on 1310 WDPN, and of course, Q92 Radio and the Q92 Sports Network. Antonio Hall coming up today at 5:35. And big fella, we got your theme song. You're ready to go. All right, we got your walk-up music ready for you.
I really hope I nailed it, Antonio. I really do hope I did. I think I did, but
if it's not done correctly, send your complaints to Ryan Rainsberg in care of 1310 WDPN.
Just Antonio, though. Just his complaints.
That's right. We will not field any complaints from anybody else.
Everybody else, send your complaints to Sam Bourquin.
Who? We have On This Day in Sports History about 5:27 today, as usual. And we've got our poll question of the day, which is already out there and rolling. So let's give that to you. Our show poll question of the day is, how many games will the Browns win this year? A, between 0 and 3 games. B, between 4 and 6. C, between 7 and 9, or D, 10 or more. You can take the poll right now, take the poll question quiz right now on all of our social media platforms. You can take them on my Facebook page and my X page as well. But how many games do you think the Browns will win this year? Well, I have them under 5.5. So I'm still kind of wrestling. Will they win 4 or will they win 5? But that's it. They're not winning. They're not winning any more than that, I don't think. Earlier returns on the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. 83% of you believe the Browns will win between 3 and 5 games. 17% of you believe the Browns will win between 6 and 9. So 3 to 5. That's probably going to be the sweet spot. So I agree with you, and you agree with me. But we'll see if I'm anxious to see if anybody believes that they will win no more than 2, or if the Browns will actually win 10 or more. If anybody votes for option A or D, I'm just going to say that you're doing that just to do it. I don't really think you believe that. Although. We've had an 0-16. We've had a 1-15, right? So it's certainly doable. We have proven on multiple occasions it is certainly doable. Mount Union gets ready to go this Saturday afternoon against the Wheaton Thunder. Now, don't forget, the first 2 weeks this year, the kickoffs are at 1 p.m., okay? Not the usual 1:30. Mount Union hosting Wheaton at Larry Karras Stadium this Saturday at 1. And then the following Saturday, we'll be taking a trip to Grove City, Pennsylvania, and that game will be at 1 o'clock. Then, once we jump into OAC play, all the ball games for Mount will be at 1:30 p.m. So first 2 weeks, 1 o'clock, rest of the way out, we'll have kickoff set for 1:30 p.m. We're going to talk a little Buckeyes today. Not necessarily Buckeyes, but we're going to talk some college football. We'll kind of take another peek at the Buckeyes schedule, what they've got coming up. We'll talk a little bit about the top 25 and some of the big games coming up this weekend. Oh, by the way, I forgot. Tomorrow is the debut of Ross Benjamin, wagertalk.com. Sports handicapper. He is going to be with us every Thursday right here on AM 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show, at 4:35. And Ross will be with us the entire football season all the way up to the Super Bowl. Okay? Ross Benjamin, wagertalk.com. He will handicap the big college football games coming up, the big NFL games coming up this weekend. And he does a really nice job. He's been doing it for quite a while. Now, Ross, he does it 365. All right, he does baseball, he does basketball, he does hockey, he does it all. But we're going to have him in here for football. Really looking forward to it because, hey, look, let's be honest. A lot of you gamble on sports, a lot of you bet on sports, and a lot of you want as much information and trends and, maybe little nuggets that maybe other people can't give you. So we've got you covered as far as that's concerned all season long. Ross Benjamin, wagertalk.com, every Thursday at 4:35. Right here. Don't forget, put that down on AM 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show. That will begin tomorrow. All right. Our first visit with Ross Benjamin from wagertalk.com. I'm excited about that. We got about 5 or 6 games we'll pull out. We'll talk about for the college, and then we'll pull out a handful of games for the NFL. We'll look at the primetime games, obviously, Sunday night, Monday night, and see if everybody can help each other out, as we like to say here on the show. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Tomorrow night, the Cowboys will be in Philadelphia. It's the lid lifter. It's the big opening night. As mentioned, the Eagles will get their Super Bowl rings. I'm sure they'll do fireworks and they'll play the Rocky theme, and who knows who all will be there. It'll be a big NFL production. But the big story surrounding that game probably will still continue to be that Micah Parsons got traded by the Cowboys to go to the Green Bay Packers. And a lot of people are saying, how in the world can Dallas even go into Philadelphia and compete because of what just happened with Micah Parsons? And yeah, that could be it. That could be it. Dallas could come out and be in a shell, and the Eagles could come out flying high and put a couple of quick touchdowns on the board, and they run the Cowboys right off the field. But wouldn't it be so Dallas Cowboys? Wouldn't it be so National Football League? Wouldn't it be so NFL opening night for the Cowboys not only to hang around, but to go in there and win that game? As we told you before, the Cowboys are getting 7.5. That half is a big point. That's a 2-score game. Okay. And I've been, Dak Prescott, is he ever going to live up to the money? Is he ever going to live up to that contract? Is he ever going to get the Dallas Cowboys to a Super Bowl? I don't think he will. I don't think he can. I've seen enough of Dak Prescott to know. I just don't think he's that guy. He'll win you a lot of games. Like, I would take Dak Prescott on my team in a heartbeat because I know he's going to win me between 9 and 10 or 11 games. And we haven't smelled that around here since, well, it's been a long time. But, Dallas is, quote-unquote, America's team. And they've got all those Super Bowls and all that tradition. And, they haven't done squat. They haven't done squat in like 30 years. And how they can continue to put their chest out and run their mouth and talk about being America's team and, oh, the lore of the Dallas Cowboys franchise and the glory days and, excuse me, Roger Staubach and Tony Dorsett and Billy Joe Dupree and Bob Bruning and Ed Too Tall Jones and Jimmy Johnson and Michael Irvin. And guys, you haven't done anything in 3 decades. You've done nothing but really embarrass yourself. And your owner has been the one doing most of the embarrassing. And I just kind of wonder, is it time to move on from the Dallas Cowboys as being quote unquote America's team? You've got some teams out there that I think that are ready to take the mantle. Kansas City's one of them. I think Buffalo is another one. I think those would probably be my top 2. Like Green Bay has always been popular, even though it's that small market feel. You know what I mean? The fans, quote unquote, have an interest, a financial interest, ownership part of the team. Very popular. Miami's a very popular brand. The Raiders are a very popular brand. Not as much as they were when they were in Oakland or LA, but still, it's the silver and black. It's the Raider emblem on the helmet. It's John Madden. I think we got to move on away from the Dallas Cowboys being America's team. They haven't done anything. They're still popular. Their fans still travel like crazy and spend obscene amounts of money to watch them play. Turn on an NFL game any Sunday, Monday, Thursday. How many Cowboy fans are there? Thousands. Tens of thousands on road games. Of course, they pack the place when they're at home. But is it time to move on? And who is the new America's team? Who is America's team?
Dare I say the Chiefs?
They win so much, but are they? Is the Kansas City Chiefs brand? Is it good enough to get that America's team moniker? Like, and I could probably make an argument for it now because of the Super Bowls, because of Travis Kelce, because of Patty Mahomes, because of Andy Reid, because of the Hunt family being in charge, and the fact that they are a very polarizing, like when you're America's team, it's a split. Like you don't have to be the most popular. You can be hated. You can be liked, you can be loved, you can be disliked. Not everybody loved the Dallas Cowboys, but there was enough people that had interest in them that made them America's team. I don't know who my team would be. Who would the new America's team be? Just throwing that out there today. 330-821-1310. Would it be Kansas City? Would it be Buffalo? Could it be the Green Bay Packers? Was it the New England Patriots for a while when they were winning all of their Super Bowls? I think more people hated the Patriots than liked them.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's why that kept them from being, quote unquote, America's team. Who's America's team? Let me know. 330-821-1310. We'll have a little discussion here on the program. Let's take a little break. We'll come back and we'll get you into the news and weather coming up. But we got lots to get to today. We got Steve King, BrownsDailyDose.com, my man Antonio Hall talking high school football with Q92 Sports. All that and much more coming up. Stay with us.
This message is reminding all drivers to use the 3 C's: caution, courtesy, and common sense. It could save a life and a lifetime of regret. This message courtesy of Wisman's Apex Tree Service in New Franklin, where they specialize in residential and commercial tree removals, proper pruning, and tree maintenance. Like them on Facebook and visit them online at apextreeohio.com or call 330-807-8398, 330-807-8398. Wisman's Apex Tree Service, reminding everyone to drive safe this back-to-school season.
AM 1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the show. About a couple of minutes before we get you to the bottom of the hour news and weather. Hoping the voice hangs in there again today. Well, you should have heard it in here yesterday. Between myself and Rainsburg, I mean, the sneezing, the coughing, oh my goodness. I brought a little higher. Seemed like my voice was already going to crap already. It's been a half hour. I brought some heavy hitter stuff in today. Extra strength hauls. Yeah, that'll do it. So we're gonna be chewing on those here this afternoon. Sammy, did you hear Stephen Vogt last night? His pitcher had great stuff. Sam, he gave up 5 runs in 3 innings. Don't insult my intelligence with a comment like that. I heard the same thing. Slade Ciccone last night, who I was on the Slade Ciccone bandwagon. I love the way this guy competes. Oh, man, I don't know how much longer I can do it. He got ripped again last night. And I don't know. Stephen Vogt, I know, is sticking up for his guy. That's like his job. But, yeah, you're right, Doug. Don't insult the fans by saying that a guy that gave up 5, 6, or 7 runs and just got blasted all over the field in 3 innings. Don't tell us that he had great stuff. Ask the Boston Red Sox what kind of stuff he had. They were hitting it was like pinball last night. Up the middle, down the line, over the fence, through the middle, right side, left side. It was a joke. Now the Guardians battled, ended up losing 11-7 because Cade Smith fell apart in the late innings last night. But if you're Stephen Vogt, you can't come out and tell the fans, hey, I know my guy gave up 10 runs last night, but boy, he had wicked stuff. No, he didn't. If he had wicked stuff, they wouldn't give up 11 runs. Stop doing that. I know it's your job, but stop doing it. Okay? All right. News and weather coming up next here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Again, 330-821-1310 to you. Who is the National Football League's? Who should the new America's team be? We'll come back and get into that discussion more here on 1310.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. Florida plans to become the first state to eliminate vaccine mandates that have been a cornerstone of public health policy for decades in keeping school children and citizens safe from infectious diseases. State Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo describes current vaccine requirements as an immoral intrusion on rights. He argues that parents should make health decisions for their children. Physician groups maintain that vaccines are safe and essential for preventing disease spread. Democrat State Representative Anna Escamani echoes those concerns, calling the move a public health disaster in the making. Rallies are being held in Washington today from survivors and others asking for the full public release of the files related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. A bipartisan group of lawmakers are pushing for legislation that would force the Justice Department to release all the files. So far, the DOJ has only released some documents to the House Oversight Committee. House Speaker Mike Johnson is lukewarm on releasing the files, saying it's about victim privacy. In Washington, a group of Epstein survivors are sharing stories and petitioning lawmakers to support the full release. One of those victims is Liz Stein.
I loved people, and people genuinely enjoyed being around me. But after meeting Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, it felt like someone shut off the lights to my soul.
Epstein died in 2019 in a death that was ruled suicide while awaiting his federal sex trafficking trial. A woman dubbed the Ketamine Queen has pleaded guilty to selling Matthew Perry the ketamine that killed him. Yasmin Sangha became the 5th and final defendant charged in the overdose death of the Friends star to plead guilty today after an agreement with federal prosecutors. The plea means the 42-year-old will avoid a trial that had been planned for later this month. Prosecutors cast Sangha as a prolific drug dealer who sought to sell especially to celebrities and other wealthy customers. According to court documents, she sold Perry 25 vials of ketamine 4 days before his death from an overdose of the drug. The man accused of shooting and killing an 11-year-old boy who knocked on a neighbor's door in a game of ding-dong doorbell ditch was in a Houston courtroom today. ABC's Alex Stone says we are learning more about the alleged crime.
42-year-old Gonzalo Leon Jr. now given $1 million bail by a Harris County judge. In new court documents obtained by ABC News, it's revealed 11-year-old Julian Guzman was at a birthday party with family on Saturday night when a group of children got bored and went out to doorbell ditch. After knocking on Leon's door, they say he came out with a gun and followed them firing. Guzman was hit in the back and collapsed, later dying at a hospital. Alex Stone, ABC News.
It's 82 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance area weather forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Sunshine for this afternoon with a high near 82 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low 59. Thursday, an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms and a high near 67. For Friday, mostly sunny skies, a high 78. Saturday, a chance of showers early, otherwise partly sunny, a high of 68. That's your WDPN weather.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. How we doing, everybody? Well, AM 1310 WDPN. Don't forget you can catch us live on the WDPN Facebook page, our X page, and, of course, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. And you can listen to us on good old terrestrial radio. Still can't beat it. AM 1310 WDPN in your car, Alexa, you name it. Tune us in. What was the old saying decades ago? Turn us on and rip the knob off. It used to be I think that was the big thing up at MMS up in Cleveland. But welcome back to the show, everybody. Sam Bourquin with you until 6 o'clock tonight, 330-821-1310. All right, a couple of questions today. Our poll question is how many games do you think the Cleveland Browns will win this year? And I grouped them in segments to make it, I don't know if it's a little more challenging or a little more easy for you. But anyhow, will they win between 0 and 2 games? Will they win between 3 and 5, 6 and 9, or 10 or more? You can take the quiz on our social media platform. Steve says, Sam, I think they'll win between 3 and 5. Let's see here. Lisa says, I'm going for the long shot, Sam, and I'm going to say 10 or more. All right. I'll have what you're having. Eric says 3 to 5, unfortunately. Joe says 6 to 9. Dougie says between 6 and 9. Jeff and Donald both say the Browns will win between 6 and 9 games. Ryan says, hey, Sam, on FanDuel Futures, I took the Browns over 5.5, so I have to go between 6 and 9. Ryan, cash out and change your wager to under 5.5. Doug says, Sam, after seeing Peyton Manning, after seeing Arch Manning fail the other day, Haslam is all in on Shador now, so the Browns will be playing in February. That's an interesting take. Bill says, Sammy, they're going to go 3 and 14 if they're lucky, so I will say 3. Only one person. Here we go. Thomas, 0 and 17. Lock it in. Only one person has said that they're going to win 10 games or more. And that's out of all the comments between all of the social media platforms. One person. Now, look, they're not winning. we all claim to know what we think is going to happen, and we really don't. Because it's the NFL, and, well, funny things happen during the season, one way or the other. But I feel pretty confident sitting here telling you today that I believe the Cleveland Browns will win no more than 5 games. And that's not to be mean or angry or vicious or provocative. I mean, if you can explain to me how they're going to win 6 games, feel free. The floor is yours. And I don't want to just hear, well, they're due, or it's got to be their year, or hey, Flacco's back, baby. No, that's not going to. If you're going to say that if you truly believe that the Browns are going to win more than 5 games, you got to have reasons. You got to have backup. You got to have juice. I don't think the team wins more than 5. And to be honest with you, if you get to talk to some of these guys behind the curtain, I don't think they believe they're going to win more than 5 either. That might not even be the plan. That might not even be the plan.
You know, Sam, from my side of the glass, we've been sitting here talking all summer about how the Browns pretty much do not have their stuff together.
Correct. And they don't.
That leads me more towards the A to B range.
Yeah. I just, and, you know, I think we all listen to a lot of different sports radio. We all do. Everybody listens to everybody else. I listen to other talk shows. Other talk shows listen to me. It's the way of the world. But I got to tell you, man, I have had some very hearty laughs listening to Cleveland radio the last couple days. You would not believe the pom-pomming and the cheering and the believing. It's just it's comical. And I don't know if they really believe it or they just say it because they're affiliated. But there are people in Cleveland in the media that they think this team is going to win 10 games. Like they're counting on them to win 10 games. Oh, there's a chance at the playoffs. If Flacco can reclaim his magic. If Judkins ever signs and gets it together. Oh, our offensive line, if they stay healthy. What are you really basing that on? I'm pretty sure Joe Flacco is not going to have that magical touch that he had a couple years ago. That was a one-time thing. That was Joe Flacco coming in here pretty much off the couch and just spreading his wings and lighting a fire under this team and doing what he did. You can't honestly believe in your head that he is going to do that again. You're going to be very disappointed. And I love Joe Flacco. I love the fact that dude is 40-plus years old. He's still in great shape. He's a very calming influence in that locker room, a calming influence on the sidelines. I think he's even better in the huddle. I loved watching Joe Flacco work his magic a couple of years ago. But that was one of those situations where everything kind of came together. Flacco was doing his thing. Had a great immediate relationship as far as a receiver with David Njoku. Guys were playing harder. And yeah, they caught a few breaks. And they probably caught some teams asleep because they looked at their schedule and said, oh, here come the Cleveland Browns. That's a win. But they got hot, and the city got behind them. You know, Flacco Mania was running wild. They were actually dreaming of a playoff berth. They got in the playoffs. Now they got their fannies kicked by the Houston Texans, and Joe had a bad day. And that was pretty much that. But I don't see how in a realistic world you could honestly look yourself in the mirror and say, yep, Joe Flacco's going to be all that, and he's going to be even better. NFL is about a couple of things. It's about your head coach, and it's about your QB. And your OC. You got to throw that in there, too. There's got to be that, there's got to be that 1, 2, 3. I just don't see that happening again. I hope the heck Joe Flacco doesn't go down with some freak injury or get hurt. Because then you're throwing Dylan Gabriel in there. And at some point, knowing the Browns, something will happen to him. And then Shador will have to go in. And here we are in our third-string quarterback, and guys are getting hurt. And pretty soon we're looking at the schedule and we're looking at the standings, and you're 2-7, and guys are starting to tap out and looking towards retirement or looking toward the holidays, and then things kind of go off the wagon a little bit. But that's why I look at this game as kind of a big thing this year. It's a big deal for the opener. First of all, you're at home. And when's the last time the Browns won a home opener? When? They just don't do well in home openers. They don't do well in openers, period. I mean, they had that wild game down in Carolina a couple of years ago when, who was the kid that kicked the 58-yard field goal? We beat Baker in Carolina. Forget the guy's name already. But we won that one. And we saw what happened after that. But this is the big game. This is a game against the team that you have had a little success against the last several years. At home and even a little bit down in Cincinnati. Now, I think both teams approached training camp a little differently this year. There was more tackling. There was more of the starters getting playing time. Both teams did it. Cincinnati and Cleveland both subscribed to that theory. Bengals are getting sick and tired of starting off slow and then having to fight, scratch, and claw just to get into the playoffs. They don't want to start 1-3. They don't want to start 3-5 and have to play from behind the sticks, if you know what I mean, to get back into it. And then there's the Browns where they don't want to start on a loss against a team that they've had success against. They don't want to start the year with a loss at home. And they don't want the fan base to turn into apathetic mode if they blow the opener and then go on to start 1-6, 2-5. Because you know what happens then. Let's get ready for what? The NFL draft. And there we are. The Cleveland Browns unofficial, official Super Bowl. The NFL draft. And nobody wants to start talking about the draft and mock drafts and who's going to be. Nobody wants to start doing that in the month of October. That's why I think this game is so important to Cleveland. Yeah, it's important to Cincinnati, but it's important to Cleveland too. But I don't see it. I don't see the reason for the unbelievable optimism. Now, it's a lot different crowd here than it is 60 miles to the north. I think there's more realism down here in the 330 than there is in the 440 or the 216. Like, I bet if you were walking the streets in Cleveland today, Euclid, Prospect, West 6th, West 3rd, Superior, Tremont area, I bet if you polled, I bet if you polled 100 people walking on the street, they would probably, I bet you 80% of them in some fashion would say, oh, this is the year. We're going all the way. That's just what it is. Now, down here in the 330 area code, I think there's more realism and less fanaticism. And I think down here you might get 25% that say, oh, this is going to be the year. And I think everybody else would say, you know what? No, they're going to win between 3 and 6. They're going to win between 4 and 5. It depends on a couple of things, but that's how I feel. That's how I think it's going to go. If you polled people down here, it's amazing. You go from 1 hour north of how the brown and orange colored glasses are the vision for the people.
Well, it's funny, too, because the farther south you go, it seems like the more Steelers fans you find in the state, too.
Yeah, or Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Or Cincinnati. And look, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of Steeler fans in Ohio.
Yes, there are.
There are a lot, and I don't necessarily think that's cool. But, you know, if you, like all Steelers fans say, well, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I've been a fan my whole life. Okay, if that's indeed true, okay. I'll give you a pass. If you're really from PA or you're really from Pittsburgh or you had, you know, family ties with maybe season tickets, and okay, I appreciate that and I get that. But there's also the Steeler fan in the state of Ohio that grew up in Ohio, and because the Browns stunk or whatever, they saw Pittsburgh winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl, and all of a sudden, that black and gold looks pretty good. I think I'll be a fan of theirs. And that still goes on to this day.
Oh yeah, it's a generational thing. The kids grow up with their parents being Steelers fans, living in Ohio. And they're like, oh, that's just normal.
Right.
We're close. We're close enough to Pittsburgh to be Steelers fans. It's like 2 hours from here.
I mean, I'm never going to be the guy to tell anybody who they should root for.
No, never.
Because you can root for whoever you want. It's your God-given right. But when I see, Ohio State Buckeye fans that are Steeler fans, and I see Indian/Guardian fans that are, come on, you're a fan of what? You're a fan of a team that's winning at that particular point in time. You know how many Cavs fans there are? And then you see them during the fall. They got the terrible towel rooting for the Steelers. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
We've got Ryan Brailer on YouTube. He says, I'll be honest, I may be a bit more delusional than most years with my optimism. He says, but a lot of that is from Harold Fannin.
Okay. So, all right.
That's what Ryan
says. By the way, Harold Fannin changed his number today, by the way. He's wearing number 44. That was the number he wore in college at Bowling Green. So Harold Fannin for the Browns, former McKinley Bulldog, former Bowling Green State Falcon. Now he's a Brown. Harold's going to be wearing number 44 as of today. So make sure you keep that close. All right. See there, and that's what I like about Ryan. He explains his delusional thinking. And I like that. And he had a reason. Canton kid, rooting for a Canton kid. McKinley's Harold Fannin Jr., who I think is going to be really good in the NFL. It doesn't matter to me where they line him up. I think he's going to catch the ball and make plays. And I'll be watching. I'll be watching number 44. You bet I will. But, yeah, I just think there's that. I think there's that optimism of, we've been bad for so long. This has got to be the year. And then you get the woofing and the hooting and the hollering, and pretty soon people have talked themselves into they're going to win 12 games. And the funny thing is, it happens every single year.
There's a modern word for that. I believe it's copium.
Copium?
Copium.
Yeah. I'm just trying to bring a little truth and reason. That's all. I'm not trying to be the wet blanket on the bonfire. I'm just trying to bring a little realism to it. That's all. And you can take that and do what you want with it, or you can tell me to go kick rocks. I'm fine with that. I don't think they're even a 5-win team. I don't know. Let's go to the phones. 330-821-1310. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show. Go ahead.
Hey, it's Jim in Akron.
Hey,
How
Jimmy.
You doing?
I'm good, bud.
Good. Hey, I'm so with you on that. I'm so tired of hearing all the getting smoke blown up everybody's backside because it's like they're especially the local stations up there that carry them and all that. And I get there, the Browns are paying the bill, so of course they're gonna toot them up
sure.
like they're the best.
They got to show for them a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, and you get that, but the thing, and I think even you used to mention it, that when Jim Donovan was doing the games on the radio, when they were playing like garbage, he said so.
He said so. You're right.
Yeah, he'd say, no, this ain't good. But the thing is, over the years, it's like, and especially when you had that mindset in that time period when the original Browns left, a lot of people bailed and went to, whatever, that's fine. And that's why I like what you said a little bit ago. In some cases, if you're from the Pittsburgh area or if you're from Buffalo, New York, or if you're from Detroit or whatever, I understand that.
Sure.
But, case in point, you notice how the last few years, how all of a sudden all the New England Patriots fans have disappeared.
Yeah, where'd they go? They went the fight. They're all of a sudden now they've got stuff in their closet from multiple NFL teams that are winning because their team's not winning anymore.
Well, exactly, and that's why I'm saying all that Tom Brady jerseys and all the, and the Gronk jerseys and all the, and all that stuff that you stacked up from when they were there all the time. Now you know what they've done. They've all gone to, they're all the Kansas City Chiefs, or maybe went to Buffalo.
That's right.
They're basically, most of them are a bunch of front runners.
Yeah, bandwagoners. That's all. That's what they are.
Well, yeah. Whoever the popular team is at the time, like you say, everybody's buying Kansas City Chiefs stuff, buying Mahomes stuff, and buying Kelsey stuff and all that, and whatever. That's fine. Whatever works for you. But by the same token, I can't manage. I can't waste 3 hours watching bad football. I'm sorry, until don't, they'll say, oh, we're going to this and that. Don't tell me, show me.
Yeah. It's time, Jimmy. They are so, a couple of years ago was fun. That was like a novelty thing with Flacco. That was a novelty year. It was one of those.
Well, sure.
It was, and we enjoyed it for what it was worth. And it crashed. It crashed on us, but it was a fun year to talk about and they were fun to watch play. And it was, it was kind of, okay, this is Cleveland Browns. I like this. This is good. And then we just kind of reverted back to our old ways.
Football games.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, they were winning games, and they were fun.
It didn't matter. Well, it didn't matter what they did to the jerseys when they do the throwbacks and the tweak them for the nationally televised. You didn't care what they were wearing.
Right.
They were winning football games. And then when that disappeared again, right back to normal for them. Then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, I'm going to watch the Steelers, or I'm driving down to Cincinnati or whatever. And
let me throw this at you, and I'm sure other people have thought about this as I have here. Let's just say they came back in 99, so you give them a little bit of a reprieve there. Shouldn't expect much the first 5, 6, 7 years, but let's just say 2000, since 2006 on. Just imagine if this team would have been a consistent winner, and by consistent, I mean between 9, 10, 11, and 12 games, maybe a couple years they sneak out 13. Maybe they get a couple of playoff years. Maybe they even went to a divisional title game, a conference championship. You know what? You think we'd be talking about a new stadium?
No. Oh, no.
And the answer is absolutely no.
Oh no, you're spot on that one. No, and that's almost, to me, that's almost like one of the diversionary things too. Oh, we're getting a new stadium with the top on it, and we're going to be able. No, and they're not going to host any playoff games. So then that way they can schedule in a Super Bowl. It won't be the Browns, but and Final Fours and do a lot of the concerts that they'll do at the stadium in the summer when the weather's nice. You can do them in January, February, and March.
Sure.
For as far as Jimmy Haslam goes, well, sure, because he knows they ain't, they're not going to be playing it any. So,
it's like
what it is.
They've got to the point now, the Haslams are, at least we want our fans to be comfortable while they're watching bad football, and maybe they won't mind it as much. That's how I look at it.
Well, and I don't think you're far off on that one. But then the only trick with that is that then when people talk about, and which is true, how expensive still everything is now, wait till the new stadium opens up.
Oh yeah.
Watch where the ticket prices go. You watch what a hot dog costs. You watch what a beer or a soda pop costs.
Yep.
You watch how the stuff jumps up then.
Yep. And that's how it's going to be. And I've kind of already, I've already come to the conclusion that outside of a free ticket or a media credential, I will probably never be able to step foot in that place for anything.
Oh, no. And
I've already come to grips with it.
And I totally understand that because, like you say, by the time, with all the other stuff, parking and everything that all goes with that, sure, it might be fun to say you went once.
Right.
Just to see what it was like. But other than that, and you're going to go to a concert up there and practically have to sit on the roof because that's the only one you can afford.
Oh, yeah. It's coming, Jimmy.
Yeah.
It's coming. Believe you me. It's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I appreciate the call as always.
Hey, thanks, man. Talk to you later.
Take care. Yeah. If the Browns had been winning over the last several decades, maybe went to who knows, maybe they would have went to a Super Bowl. Maybe if they went to a couple of AFC championship games, And the good old Cleveland Browns days were back. And you genuinely were filling every one of those 68,000 seats at Cleveland Browns Stadium, or whatever they want to call it. They wouldn't be talking about a new stadium. People wouldn't care. My team's winning. I don't care if every road is closed 2 hours before the game and I've got a detour over to Cedar Point and take a ferry over to the game. Nobody cares. If you're winning, you're having fun. And the more people that have fun, the more people want to be around and associated with it. If they would have been winning games, I mean winning games, and being the national darling for years and years and winning divisions and playing games in January, nobody would care about that stadium. It would have never come up. Trust me, it would have never come up. But they've been so bad. And people just complain more about, getting in and getting out. How much time it takes. We don't have the amenities that teams A, B, and C have. And then the owner's like, people have spoken. They want a new place. They want better parking. They want better access. They want to be comfortable. Maybe they want to come up here during the winter and watch a concert or see a Final Four. Ooh, we could keep all the money right here. We could keep all the parking. We could keep it all. Let's do it. Thus, Brook Park in 2028 or 2029. If all the I's get dotted and the T's get crossed. They're still having a lot of trouble with the city of Cleveland with that right now. But if they were winning, look at that crappy municipal stadium. 80,000 people during the glory days. Nobody cared. You were winning. That's still the name of the game. News and weather coming up next here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Florida aims to become the first state to end all vaccine mandates, says the state Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, alongside Governor Ron DeSantis.
Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery.
Mandates set to end, including those for school kids to get shots against measles, polio, and more. Governors of California, Oregon, and Washington say they're forming the West Coast Health Alliance to offer unified, consistent vaccine recommendations based on science. In reaction, a spokesperson for Federal Health and Human Services Department accuses those states of having imposed failed mandates during the COVID pandemic. Calling for full public release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, alleged victims and others at Washington rallies today. The Dollar Tree retail chain says price increases started the past few months and more products will increase in cost over the rest of the year. This is ABC News.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
School's back in session, and if your kids still need something for back to school, then you should get to Macy's now. Come in and find everything on your list, like active from Nike and Jordan, denim from Levi's and Good American, plus complete looks from Abercrombie Kids too. Even furniture and mattresses at our lowest prices of the season, just for your college student who still needs something for their room. It's all in one place, all at great prices, and it's all here now at Macy's.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. Police are investigating the death of a man on Canton's northeast side. 41-year-old Jake Young was found in his home in the 1600 block of St. Elmo Avenue Tuesday night. The death is being investigated as a homicide. A neighbor reported finding Young's body just before 6 p.m. He told police he had gone to the home to meet the man and found the back door open. He also said the doorbell camera had been removed and was lying in the front yard. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office is conducting an autopsy. The Alliance Health Department says West Nile virus has turned up in 2 more mosquito samples. The samples were collected on the southern edge of the city. The health department says they were notified of the results by the Ohio Department of Health. A sample from the same area tested positive last month. The health department recently treated those areas for mosquitoes. Staff will conduct another round of targeted spraying throughout the city. Multiple positive cases were previously reported in the Canton area. No human cases have been reported in Stark County. West Nile is the leading mosquito-borne illness in the continental United States. Criminal charges have been filed against the owner of the former McCaskey Register Company property in Alliance. Demolition of the South Union Avenue property began in 2021, but cleanup has been delayed multiple times. Canton-based Marshall Land Company is charged in Alliance Municipal Court with an unclassified misdemeanor of failure to comply with a notice of violation or order and a third-degree misdemeanor of removal of debris from a wrecking site. If the owner is convicted or takes a plea deal, the judge will likely give them 20 to 30 days and then schedule a review of the case. If necessary, Law Director Caitlin Wire says the city could finish the job and be reimbursed. Arraignment is scheduled for September 15th. Louisville City Council Tuesday gave initial approval to an employee contract. WDPN's David Schur has more.
Full-time employees of the Public Works Department will receive a 3.5% pay increase under the new contract, effective retroactively for 2025. A 2% pay increase will be given for both 2026 and 27. In the event that non-union employees receive a greater increase, those in the union will see their pay increase to match. A public hearing will be held on September 15th prior to final council action. City Manager Andy Tarosky advised council that the recycle bins on North Chapel Street will be relocated to the west edge of the Public Works parking lot on West Main Street.
A man has been found not guilty of the theft of over $21,000 worth of computer hardware and software from Metallis's Perry Township plant. 37-year-old Matthew Eberly of Jackson Township was acquitted by Stark County Common Pleas Court jury of 1 count of grand theft August 26th. Thefts occurred in December 2024 and were caught on surveillance video. Eberly was indicted in February. He is no longer employed by Metallis. A Medina County grand jury has indicted a Portage County Sheriff's Deputy, Daniel LeJack, and Cleveland police officer Donald Kopchak were charged with unlawful restraint and ethnic intimidation. The pair allegedly took a man outside the Buzzards Roost in Hinckley while off duty last April, pinned him to the ground, and took his phone and wallet. A responding Brunswick police officer told the suspects the man was a valid U.S. citizen from the African country of Eritrea and had a valid license to drive a truck. LeJack, who was a Lake County narcotics agent, resigned from the job but was hired by the Portage County Sheriff's Office weeks later. Kopchak remains with the Cleveland Department after being placed on restricted duties. Authorities say no one was injured in an incident involving a car and train in Columbiana Tuesday night. It happened around 9 p.m. at a crossing at South Elm Street. WKBN-TV reports a car appeared to have damage on its rear end and was stopped adjacent to one of the train tracks. The train was stopped on a track parallel to the vehicle. Police say a man got out safely. The area was temporarily closed to traffic. Dave Ward has been fired as Liverpool Township Fire Chief. Trustees made the decision Tuesday following an executive session. Ward was suspended after 2 incidents last month. He allegedly got into a shouting match with his assistant chief because they didn't answer him on the radio while battling a fire. Ward also reportedly kicked 2 of his firefighters off a scene. No reason was given for the action. The Morning Journal reports trustees said Ward failed to address the situation. He can ask for a pre-disciplinary conference within 10 days. Former Chief Mike Behan was named as Ward's successor. 18 dead cats and 1 dead dog were found in Canfield. Animal Charity of Ohio says the discovery was made today in a house on Hilltop Boulevard. The house was recently purchased at auction. The animals had been dead for some time. Agents say there are 2 suspects in the case, but they have not been identified. An investigation, including Canfield police, is underway. A teen has been sentenced to 6 to 7.5 years in prison for a shooting in Youngstown. 18-year-old Nabil Allen was handed the punishment today by Mahoning County Common Pleas Judge Maureen Sweeney. He pleaded guilty in July to 2 counts of attempted murder and an unrelated count of aggravated robbery. Allen shot 2 people at an apartment complex on Robinwood Place in August 2024. The aggravated robbery charges resulted from a February 2024 incident. Allen was initially charged as a juvenile. It's 81 degrees, an Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Forecast for this afternoon, calling for sunshine and a high near 82 degrees, partly cloudy skies tonight, a low 59. Thursday, an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 67. For Friday, mostly sunny, a high near 78. Saturday, a chance of showers in the morning, otherwise partly sunny, a high 68. That's your WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, Meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
9-7. Line drive, right center. That's going to get 2 home. Trevor Story heading for second base. 2-run score. And the Red Sox open it up. All sorts of breathing room. 11-7.
Hitters. Get out of here, ball. Get out of here.
Towering fly ball to left center, and can you believe it? George Springer has done it again.
Left center field,
Sit down.
and that will get down and split Conforto and Paez, and that's going to score 2. Jared Triolo brings home a pair with his second double of the night. Gives the Buccos a 7-4 lead.
Here's Tucker out to left field. Going back to the track. It's gone!
High fly ball. Altuve back on the track, looking up. See ya! A grand slam for Grisham. His magical season continues. It's 6-0 Yanks.
Boy, wouldn't it be nice to have guys hit home runs all the time and score runs in bunches, have the crowd going wild, winning games in September. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, there's always next year, I guess. Guardians and Red Sox coming up tonight. That's a 6:45 first pitch. What's the run line tonight? Red Sox are minus 155. Oh, they're expecting a lot of runs tonight again. The total is 9.5. Canelo and Bernardino, the pitching matchup tonight in Boston. That sounds like an overplay to me. Well, Sam, they just scored 18 runs last night. There's no possible way. Oh, yes, there is. Oh, yes, there is. But I have to play that one over, folks. Just putting it out there. All right, there's some baseball going on this afternoon. We got a couple of final scores in. Detroit beat the New York Mets today by the score of 6-2. So the Tigers are now 81-60 on the season. 6 runs, 10 hits today for Detroit. Man, 22,000 people at Detroit today to watch a first-place team against the Mets. I'm pretty sure the weather was nice up there. I don't know that for sure, but 22,000? If Cleveland was 21 games over 500 in September on a beautiful sunny day like today, it'd be 30,000 people there. Easy. Nationals beat the Marlins today 10-5. Games in progress right now. Bottom 2, Diamondbacks lead the Rangers 1-0. Orioles lead the Padres 1-0 in the first. And there is a whole bunch of games going on later on tonight, including the Guardians and Red Sox. And then it's off to Florida for a series against the Rays coming up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll check the scoreboard in the 5 o'clock hour, let you know what's going on there with some of those other baseball games. Phone lines are open here, wide open for you, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. Text line open too, 330-924-7088. Coming up at 4:35 today from Browns Daily Dose, Steve King will join us. We'll talk some Browns. We'll talk a little Browns history of openers. And we'll take a little look back at Steve wrote a really, really cool piece the other day about Bill Belichick returning to the sidelines Monday night as he coached the Carolina Tar Heels in that college game against TCU. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So Steve King coming your way at 4:35. 5:35 today. My man, Antonio Hall, Q92 Radio Sports. He's going to join us and we'll talk high school football. That'll be coming up at 5:35. You don't want to miss that. On this day in sports history, and of course, our poll question of the day is, how many games do you think the Cleveland Browns will win this season? That's the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. How many wins will the Cleveland Browns have this season? What do you think? Now, I've kind of made it a little easier for you. You don't really have to give me like the exact number of wins, but I'm giving you four little areas of neighborhood wins. All right. Are they going to win between 0-2? Are they going to win between 3-5? Will the Browns win between 6 and 9 games? Or will they win 10 or more? You can take the quiz on the social media platforms today. You can also drop us a comment on the Q92 radio page on Facebook. Well, a lot of people weighing in on the Browns. See, that's the thing. Always a hot discussion. Always. Whether they're 15-1 or if they're 1-15. It's definitely a football state. There's no doubt about that. Jennifer says they'll win between 3 and 5. Ron says Sam between 6 and 9, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Luis says they're going to win 6 on the dot. Peggy says between 6 and 9. Lynette says between 3 and 5, but hopefully they'll win a little bit more. Laughing emoji. Pat says between 6 and 9. Dave says between 6 and 9. Ugh. How about Dan? The pride of Alliance, Ohio, Dan Bell. He says, Sam, I got the Browns winning between 7 and 10. Okay. Rick says between 6 and 9. George between 6 and 9. Boy, a lot of you think they're going to win 6 games. Russ, Steve, Timmy all think at least 6 wins. Doug says between 3 and 4. John up in Barberton says, Sam, they're going to win 7 on the dot. Mike says 5 on the dot. Keep those comments coming. Keep those predictions coming on our social media platforms. You can also check us out here with a call at 330-821-1310. I think futures bet-wise, I'm going to go under the 5.5. As long as they just win 5, you're in the money. You're okay. I just don't see more than 5 wins. I don't. Unless they get crazy lucky hot early in the year. Because that's where, I mean, this season's going to turn, it's going to take a turn one way or the other within the first 7 weeks. There's going to be no middle ground because of the schedule that they are playing. There is no way in the world that if this team goes, I could see them going 1-6. Then you're certainly not going to win a whole lot of games. You open with Cincinnati. You go to the Baltimore Ravens. You are home to Micah Parsons in the Green Bay Packers. Then you go to the Detroit Lions. Okay? Very easily. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could blow your first 4. You could come out of the gates 0-4. Then you've got Minnesota, but you've got to go to London. You've got to go across the pond. Okay? That's October the 5th. They'll be in London. And then no bye week. You're coming right back, and then you're going to Heinz Field to take on the Steelers on October the 12th. Then the Dolphins come to Cleveland on October the 19th. I might give them a legitimate shot to get that one. You know what? I'll tell you what. Excuse me. I'll meet you halfway. I think they could go to London and beat Minnesota. And then I think they could come. Boy, listen to me. What am I drinking? Then they could come back home, and then they could beat Miami. So there's 2 wins there that I think they will get. Then you go to New England. Winnable, although I think Mike Vrabel is going to have them playing good ball. Then you go to the Jets. Winnable. So there's an opportunity for maybe 3 to 4 wins by November the 16th. And I'm being as realistic as I can here.
I don't know. Ryan on Facebook still says C. He's got 8 games.
8 games.
Yep.
Oof. So November the 16th, the Ravens come to Cleveland. That's a 4:25 game too. Maybe TV thinks this is going to be a good game because they know. Then you go to Vegas on November the 23rd. We saw what happened out there last year. You have to watch that one up close and personal and be disappointed. Then the 49ers come to town. Thanksgiving weekend. Then the Titans come in. That's a winnable game. Then you go to Chicago. You're not winning that game. Then the Bills come to Cleveland on December the 21st. You're not winning that game. Then the Steelers come in the 28th of December. You're not winning that game. And then you go to Cincinnati January the 4th. I'm telling you, man, Vegas has got this thing right on the money. 5.5. And I could go up and down this schedule 15 times. Play it out in my mind. Play it out statistically. Do the simulation game. And I bet you 99% of the time, I would have them in either winning 5 games or 6. That number is right on the button.
Ryan on Facebook says split in the AFC North. Lions, Jets, Bears, Patriots, Raiders.
He thinks they're going to beat the Lions and the Bears?
He said, sorry, Titans and Lions. Titans, not Lions on that list.
I was going to say.
Yeah, okay.
You're not beating Detroit. Now, again.
He mistyped it, and then I misread it.
I mean, I don't know. You could beat Detroit. It's the national fixed. I mean, it's the National Football League. They could win any of these games. You know the old line on any given Sunday. But if you just go through here and you play the schedule game for fun, then, yeah. You could probably fudge your way into thinking that they could win more than 5.5 games. I'm basing my win total on I just don't think they're going to get off to a good start against the schedule that they're going to have to play. I think the beginning of the season is going to be very difficult for the Cleveland Browns. And that's if they're staying healthy. If they have some bad luck with injuries and some crazy goofy stuff goes on, then I mean it could be a real disaster. But what do you think? How many games do the Browns win this year, this season. 330-821-1310. Or again, as you've been doing all afternoon long, and we appreciate it. Drop some comments on our 1310 WDPN social media platforms, X, Facebook, Q92 radio page on YouTube. Got a couple more here coming in. Jennifer says, between 3 and 5. Sydney says the Browns are going to win 8 games this year. Book it. Okay. Rees or Rise? What is it? R-H-Y-S. Is that Reese?
I would say that's Rise.
Rise? Okay. Rise says between 6 and 9. Brian G says, Sammy, they're going to win between 3 and 5. Tim says between 3 and 5, but I'll put the max at 6. Matt, I know Matt's a diehard Browns fan, but see here, he's got him between 3 and 5. Kim down in Texas says between 6 and 9. Dan says, Sam, I'll say between 6 and 9 wins if we are lucky. Wayne and Robin all on the board saying between 6 and 9. Dennis says between 3 and 5 wins. Dennis, appreciate you, and we'll see you soon at the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club. I'm gonna go 5. In my heart, I think they're gonna win 4. I'll say 5. I don't think they're going to hit that number of 5.5. Let's take a break. 25 minutes past the hour here on the Sam Bourquin Show. We'll take a break and come back with a lot more. 1310 WDPN.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
$13.10 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. How many wins for the Browns this year? You got the poll question up on all of our Facebook. You can check me out on Facebook. You can also follow me on X at Sam Bourquin 16. Same deal on TikTok at Sam Bourquin 16. We put the quiz up there today just for a little fun. See if we get a little reaction. On the WDPN X page, how many games will the Browns win? 58% say between 3 and 5 games. 25% between 6 and 9. 8% think the Browns will win between 1 and 2 games. 8% believe the Browns will win 10 or more. At AM 1310 WDPN on X. And you can take the quiz. It'll be up for another 8.5, 9 hours. So let us know what you think. Don't forget Steve King, Browns Daily Dose, coming up here in about 8-9 minutes at 4:35 p.m. 5:35, we're talking ball with Hall. Yes, sir. We're going to talk to Antonio Hall from Q92 Sports. We'll break down the high school football scene for you. Little peek back at week 2 and look ahead to our big schedule of games coming up here on week 3. Antonio Hall coming your way at 5:35 this afternoon here on AM 1310 WDPN. Excuse me. By the way, this Friday we will be broadcasting our show live, hopefully, from Streetsboro. That's right. We're going to be at Streetsboro High School Friday for our show between 3 and 6. And our pregame at 6:30. Then we will ring the Alliance Aviators and the Streetsboro Rockets right here on 1310 WDPN. That's Friday night high school football. Over on our FM on Q92, a good one. Louisville and Northwest. Clint and the crew will have that one for you beginning at 6:30 on 92.5 FM Q92 radio on Friday. And then we've got 5 other ball games on the stream that night on Q92radiosports.com. And we'll be telling you all about that when we visit with Antonio coming up at 5:35 this afternoon.
Spoiler alert, we haven't even have one on Saturday this week.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I keep forgetting McKinley and Cleveland Heights will battle at Tom Benson Stadium Saturday night. Is that at 7 or 8?
That is at, I have it right in front of me.
I think it's 7.
I think it's 7.
It's the third.
I'm looking, there it is, 7 p.m. I was staring right at it. My brain just wasn't reading it.
Yeah, it's the third. There's 3 games actually at Benson on Saturday. There's a couple of really good teams from Pennsylvania battling. There's Glen Oak is going to play Cleveland East Tech, and then McKinley will battle Cleveland Heights. That ball game, the McKinley game, will be Saturday night live on Q92 radio with Clint and the boys at 92.5 FM. So that's Saturday night, a little high school football special for you here on across the hall at Q92. I'm going to head over there too. I'm gonna do the Mount Union game on Saturday afternoon, and then I'm gonna try to get over to the McKinley game by 7. If I'm a little late, no big deal. Weather looks like it's going to be pretty good. I haven't had a chance to see the Bulldogs this year yet, so I want to check them out and see what Coach Renzi Purnell has got in store for Cleveland Heights coming up here. That'll be like a little throwback game for the Bulldog faithful. Remember the Pups used to play most of their games on Saturday nights at Fawcett Stadium. This is the biggest game in town. Biggest game in town, Saturday night at Fawcett. 7:30, 8 o'clock kickoff. Everybody played on Friday. Timken would play on Friday, so McKinley said, hey, we'll take the Saturday night game. We'll be the standalone. They would just draw huge crowds. Didn't matter who they were playing. Didn't matter if it was a local team from Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, out of state. It was a lock. It was a lock to get 12,000, 15,000 every Saturday night for McKinley games at Fawcett. Boy, times have changed. All right, news and weather coming up next on the Sam Bourquin Show. Keep it here, 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. Florida's top health official says the state will end vaccine mandates even for school children. Florida Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo, who has been critical of vaccines in the past, made the announcement today.
Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery.
Eliminating some vaccine mandates would have to be approved by Florida's state legislature. Vaccine mandates currently in place for Florida school children include inoculation from measles, polio, hepatitis B, chickenpox, and tetanus. Meanwhile, California, Oregon, and Washington are banding together to offer their own vaccine guidelines separate from the federal government. Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse have gathered on Capitol Hill to demand the release of the sex trafficking investigation into the late financier. Today, they pushed back against President Trump's dismissal of the issue as a hoax. During a news conference, women shared their experiences and called for transparency and accountability. Lawmakers are divided on how to proceed, with some Republicans supporting a bill to force the Justice Department to release records. The GOP-controlled House Oversight Committee has released some documents. Survivors see this as a crucial moment for justice and accountability. Hundreds of thousands of people are believed to still be in Gaza City as the Israeli army expands its operation into that area in an effort to occupy it. The IDF is urging everyone to leave the area, but ABC News producer Daya Astaz in Gaza says Gazans don't know where else they would go.
This morning, the Israeli army dropped leaflets on the northwest areas of the Gaza City, asking the residents and the displaced at that area to leave and evacuate immediately, heading to the southern parts of the Gaza Strip. And that comes as the IDF spokesperson tweeted yesterday on his X account that the military operation in the Gaza City will be expanded to the western areas of the city, and asking all of the residents to head to the southern parts of the Gaza Strip.
According to the Hamas-run health ministry, 113 Gazans were killed in overnight strikes, including 33 people who were seeking humanitarian aid. U.S. employers posted 7.2 million job vacancies in July as the American labor market continued to cool. The Labor Department reported today that job openings were down from 7.4 million in June and came in modestly below what economists had forecast. The job openings and labor turnover survey showed that layoffs increased. The number of Americans quitting their jobs, a sign of confidence in their ability to find better pay, opportunities, or working conditions elsewhere, was almost unchanged at 3.2 million from June. It's 81 degrees in Alliance at 432. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Sunny skies expected this afternoon with a high near 82 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low near 59. Thursday, showers and thunderstorms likely, a high 67, chance of rain 80%. Friday, mostly sunny, a high near 78. Saturday, a chance of showers early, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 68. That's your WDPN weather.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Boy, what a beautiful weather day. I think we're like 82 degrees, nothing but sunshine outside. Not going to be this way tomorrow, but we bounce back. Great day today, a lot of rain tomorrow, and then we're going to bounce back and have a great weekend. Going to have a great weekend, and the weekend's almost here. That's the beautiful thing about a holiday on a Monday. Tomorrow's Thursday already. Don't get much better than that. 330-821-1310 is our number, 330-821-1310. Again, Steve King coming up in a couple of minutes. Rainsburg, somebody had a question over there about Youngstown Ursuline, I believe.
Yeah, Philip on Facebook asked if you had any thoughts on Youngstown Ursuline.
Okay, so the big bomb dropped yesterday. We talked a lot about what was going on at Ursuline High School with that suit. Alleging just a lot of really bad stuff, hazing and sexual assault and misconduct, and kind of graphic details. If you really want to go down that rabbit hole and look at all the stuff that's out there, there's stories are out there with a lot of the details in there. I did see today that Dana Balish, our good friend from WFMJ Sports, who ran the story. WFMJ News ran the story yesterday. He says that the OHSAA on the Ursuline federal lawsuit, quote, the OHSAA is aware of the situation but not commenting since the legal matter is still in progress. That's courtesy of Dana Balish from 21 WFMJ Sports in Youngstown on the latest with the Youngstown Ursuline federal lawsuit that was filed yesterday in court. And we'll keep on top of that situation, let you know what's going on there. All right, NFL season begins tomorrow night. Dallas and Philadelphia. Friday night in Brazil, because every NFL season should start in Brazil. The Chiefs will battle the Chargers, and then Sunday fun day in the Buckeye State. We're ready to go. Browns in the Bengals up in Cleveland. And we'll see what happens. Let's bring on our good friend, Browns Daily Dose. It is Steve King to the 1310 WDPN microphones today. Steve, good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying a beautiful Wednesday in Northeast Ohio. What's going on?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting, Sam, talking or hearing that, Brazil and Thursday night football and this, that, and the other, and the Browns playing in, I think Germany later in the year. If all those people that sat around and discussed the possibility of having Monday Night Football 55 years ago, if they could see into the future and listen to what you just said, it would blow their mind.
You are not kidding. Steve, before we get into the Browns and the opener and Quinshon Judkins and Flacco and a whole bunch of stuff, you and I chatted a little bit last night about some stuff.
Yep.
And I did get a couple of your musings via email, and I went back and I just read it again about your little piece in Browns Daily Dose that you wrote for Monday regarding Bill Belichick coming back to the sidelines and coaching with the North Carolina Tar Heels. And I thought it was really cool what you wrote about, the Browns starting against the Cowboys, Bill's first game, his first game with New England. Both of them were pretty rough, but that was a very interesting piece. And I wondered if you'd want to maybe go into a little detail about what you wrote about that, and just like the beginning for Belichick in the NFL and the auspicious debut in college.
Yeah, absolutely. Both on September 1st, as it were. He was the coach in '91 with the Browns. Their opening game at Cleveland, against Dallas at Cleveland, and a young coach that was kind of cutting his own teeth too. He's I think by that time he was a third-year head coach and just kind of building the Dallas Cowboys. A guy named Jimmy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So that day. I was amazed and I was heartened by the fact that, Dallas had the better players. The Browns of the late 80s, all those guys had gotten old. And so they were, they had come off a 3-13 season and Belichick was trying to put them back together. But, here's Belichick and Saban were just a step ahead of the Cowboys all day. And they didn't have enough to finish it at the end. But I was like, wow, those guys did a great job. And then you fast forward to, September 1st of this year, Monday, and there's Belichick and his son Steve is now the defensive coordinator, and there's Nick Saban is on the ESPN, analyst panel. Freddie Kitchens, the former head coach of the Browns, is the offensive coordinator. It was just surreal. And then there's Mike Lombardi, the general manager of the college, something, you wouldn't have seen back then. And just the, and it seemed like Belichick and Kitchens and Steve Belichick were just a play behind the whole night. And that, you wonder, is that the beginning of the end for Belichick? It didn't look good, but, hey, maybe they were saying the same thing in 1991 when he lost to, Dallas that day. But it was interesting. And I said too, and we talked about this, the intrigue of Bill Belichick, the greatest head coach in the history of the NFL, if you go by Super Bowl titles, and I think we do 6, goes back into college and see what he can do in the college level, having never spent a day in college football, even as an assistant. It has the most intrigue since Monday Night Football because there was no precedent. You didn't know the advent of Monday Night Football. Will anybody watch a football game on a weekday night? You got to be kidding me. Nobody's going to do that. Less than half the affiliates picked up the telecast.
Yeah.
And will Bill Belichick, how can a guy like that come into college? Oh, he's going to be great. Oh, he's going to be terrible. Just the intrigue, and you didn't know because there was nothing to bounce it off of. And it was, I enjoyed it. I think 8 of their games this year are national TV games in some way, shape, or form, people. And I'm going to watch because you're not going to see this again. And I think that, they got 2 gimmies with Charlotte and I'm thinking Richmond or somebody the next 2 weeks. So try to get, right in. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think that they're probably digging their heels in and trying to prove everybody wrong. But it's a fascinating thing to see. It really is, especially for Browns fans, because you remember his start back then, 34 years ago. And now, now 34 years later, he's doing it in college. It's just, you just couldn't have conceived of that back then.
Steve, I got to tell you what, and this may turn some people off, but I was as excited to watch the Carolina TCU game with Bill Belichick on the sidelines as I was to watch Texas and Ohio State on Saturday.
Absolutely.
And that sounds like, what, are you out of your mind? But I really was. I watched all the pregame. I watched all the pomp and circumstance. I thought the setting in Chapel Hill was absolutely stunning. I mean, I even said on Twitter, so I said, man, if I could have a 50-yard line seat at Kenan Stadium right now, please God, put me there, because that just looked fantastic. And yeah, they had a great opening drive. It was 7-0. All was right in the world. And then the wheels fell off. And Steve, I think we figured out, we learned a lot during the broadcast that, he brought 70 new players in. That's a complete new staff. They weren't going to go out there and beat TCU with Sonny Dykes, and they just weren't. But the hype was real, and I thought it was fantastic television. And I'm hoping that they win some games, because I'll be watching as well, because sometimes you start really, really slow, and before you know it, they're saying, "Oh, this guy did it in the NFL. Now look what he's doing in college." I think it's going to be a fun ride. I really do.
Oh, they have eight home. I think the whole home season is sold out.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Makes the accountants real happy, and you have that, and you've got LT in up in the suites with Roy Williams and
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and, just a host of other people, and it was just incredible the scene there. I mean, like you say, you're not going to see anything like this again. So these people can hate on Belichick, certainly this, that, and the other, but it's made for TV viewing. Football is a game made to watch on TV. And it certainly was that, and much more on Monday night, because it was, you could just see and feel it. You could just, the excitement and the wondering what was going to happen, and the expectancy, and just all that. It was palpable. It really was.
Yep, I thought so too. Steve King is our guest. Browns Daily Dose. Check him out. Browns Daily Dose does a great job. Great writings. Just every day there's just something really cool, and you don't want to miss that. Browns Daily Dose. Steve King is our guest. So,
Sam, can I interrupt one quick thing?
Surely.
You talk about former. I don't mean to interrupt you, but former Browns coaches. What I'm writing for tomorrow, Dallas at Philadelphia. Dallas's coach is Brian Schottenheimer. Maybe you've heard that last name.
Oh, yes.
And I was listening to an interview with him probably a week ago, and he was talking about, Micah Parsons and all that. And the longer I listened, it just all of a sudden it dawned on me, he sounds a lot like his dad.
Oh, like and Marty, huh?
I just smiled about it. I'm rooting for him. I know he's up against it. I know it doesn't, you're working for Jerry Jones, and your best player has, gone on to, the division rival. But boy, I tell you what, conference rival. But boy, that's, I'm rooting for him. Man. I'm allowed to root for him, and I hope that he does well. And, hey, good luck. But he sounds, his voice sounds, if you listen again, sounds, and I heard him again today, just before we went on the air here. Sounds a lot like his dad, and that's kind of cool.
He sure does. He sure does. I'll root for him too. I mean, I've kind of been turned off by the way Jerry Jones does business with the Cowboys. And, I grew up being a Cowboys fan because that's all we had on channel 3, 5, and 8. Browns games were blacked out. I love watching Dallas, but now I'm like, I've had enough. But I'll root for Schottenheimer, no doubt about it. So speaking of that ball game tomorrow night, it'll be in Philly, and the Eagles will get they'll get their Super Bowl rings, and there'll be all the glory and the pomp and circumstance and everything. Do you see any way the Dallas Cowboys go in there and win that game tomorrow?
Well, it'd be very hard. You never say never. You never say always, because these are professional football players. They're paid, but it's going to be very tough. I tell you the one, and Sirianni, Mount Union guy, doesn't get his due. He's got a lot of good sense in him. They're not going, just like Ryan Day says, we're not defending anything. Well, he's picked that up too, the mantra. And this is, again, something started by Belichick. Hey, that's great. We won a championship, but that's in the past. This is the team. They're not going out for the unveiling of the banner. And because that's not something that they want to be part of. They want to focus on this season and repeating. They're not worried about last season. Now, if they were standing out there watching that and that hadn't happened, I think, you know what? maybe they got caught up in that a little bit, but I think their heads are on straight. And that's a great offensive line that they have in Philly. They're defending Super Bowl champs. They're at home. That's going to be a tough nut to crack for the Dallas Cowboys. Anybody can win on any given Sunday. I don't want to sound trite, but that's true. But I tell you what, the Philadelphia is the real deal.
Yep, I think so too. All right, let's kick the can down to Sunday, 1 o'clock up on the lakefront. The Battle of Ohio, Cincinnati and Cleveland, round one. They'll meet in the last game of the year. That'll be coming up in January. But Steve, the Cleveland Browns, they've got their roster. They're ready to go. They tackled a little bit more in the preseason this year. I think the camp was a little tougher. At least I'm hearing that it was. What do you expect week one? And let's just keep it at week one, because we'll take it one game at a time, just like they tell us to. What do you see happening Sunday? Good, bad, ugly, indifferent? What's the Steve King crystal ball say?
Well, Cincinnati's got a lot of weapons, obviously, and it would be very easy to pick them, and maybe at the end of the day you do. But the one thing I like about the Browns is Cincinnati's defense is not good. Mm-hmm. Joe Flacco will find places in there to throw the ball. That is good. You got to put at the most important position on the field. They have a professional quarterback. Okay, they've got maybe the best defensive end in the game, and if Denzel Ward is able to play and stay healthy, they got one of the best cornerbacks in the game. Now, if you could take three positions and have the best player or a good player, you'd want those three positions. So I think it's going to be close. The Bengals have started poorly the last 2-3 years, and it's cost them in terms of not making the playoffs or not getting the seed they wanted. They're determined to come out and play ball. They have played more in the preseason they had in the past, and they got Trey Hendrickson, for one and done. It looks like, one more year, and he's. I'm concerned about him and about Shadur Stewart, the rookie defensive end for the Bengals, and I'm concerned who's going to block those guys, and and putting heat on Flacco, and I think Jack Conklin can do his job. But I'm worried about DeJuan Jones. Can he hold up at left tackle? That's, I think, really the key to the game. But I think Flacco is going to try to control the ball, keep that Cincinnati offense off the field, and make throws that will keep those drives alive, even if you don't score points. I think it comes down to the end, and you'll probably pick Cincinnati. But I will tell you what, I would not be at all surprised if the Browns won. And I know that sounds crazy, but this is opening day, and they're trying to get off to a good start. And it's such an important thing for a team that's trying to find itself, a team that still has a lot of holes, to get something big to happen in start the season that kind of give them a little confidence. And let's not forget, Huntington Bank Field is a tough place to play in terms of that crowd noise, and they're going to be rocking and rolling, and everybody is, have the audacity as hope of as Sam Bertigliano always wants to tell us. And so, I think it goes into the fourth quarter, but you got a guy like Joe Burrow. I think he's the number 2 quarterback in the game behind Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. And I think at the end he makes a play and wins it, but I would not be surprised if somehow, some way, the Browns 3-2, 50-49, or who knows what, find a way to get a win. Now, there might not be many more after that, but I would not be at all surprised if that happened. But again, you have to have, give Flacco time, and boy, he's got to find a way. They got to find a way to neutralize Trey Hendrickson, and he's really good. And if he gets his way in, passing, pass rush, collapse the pocket, the Browns have a problem. But you take Stewart and Hendrickson off the Bengals defense, and they might not be able to beat Manchester High School. So there you go.
Steve, I'm probably going to lean towards Cincinnati, but there is one thing I'm very confident in. I think there is going to be a boatload of points scored on Sunday. And you threw that out there, 50-49. I could see that happening These two teams have played a couple of games like that over the history of this series, and I would not be surprised if somebody got in the 40s, maybe 50 here on Sunday. You brought up the name DeJuan Jones, and I think is this his third year, Steve?
I believe so, yeah.
I think it's time for him. This is like a put up or shut up year for him. And yes, he's got to stay healthy. I think he's got the frame. I think he's got the footwork to be a really good offensive lineman. My question is, Steve, do you think he will be, and does that have to start this Sunday?
Oh, it absolutely has to start Sunday. And there's a great opportunity. He's lost weight. He's improved his agility. He did some work with the legend, Joe Thomas, and over, in the off season and through training camp, but just, so he's got that coming for him. And it's a wide open opportunity. They need a left tackle in the worst way. Ever since Joe Thomas, injured and out, they've struggled at that position. And so, I think he can. He's going to get a test when you're blocking every day in practice against Myles Garrett, depending on what side of the line he lines up. You're going to get better. You're going to get killed. Watt from Pittsburgh and Trey Hendrickson. So he's going to face those guys 4 times. So he better be good, or they're going to be going to Dylan Gabriel very quickly because Flacco's going to be in a sling.
The running game, we still don't have an official word on Quinshon Judkins yet, and obviously there's no way in the world he's going to play anyway this weekend. What do you see out of Jerome Ford, and is he ready to bust out and take the next step? Because they're going to need him in a big way.
Yeah, I think he's a guy. If you remember a guy that played for the Browns by the name of Cleo Miller.
Yes.
Cleo Miller was solid. He was a good, solid running back. Ernie Green, a good, solid running back. And you know what? You can win with those guys. You can make plays with those guys. Now, what they don't have is the burst. They don't have the cutback ability. Quinshon Judkins, when he was, Nick Chubb, when he was healthy, those guys have that. So maybe you don't get a 65-yard run, but you get a lot of 5 and 6 and 7-yard runs. And it's going to be very important for them to be able to run the ball a little bit and move the chains and keep that Cincinnati offense on the sidelines. If it gets into the game and they're getting possession after possession and it's 3 and out, could be a long day.
Steve King is our guest. Check him out. Browns Daily Dose. That's Browns Daily Dose. Steve King, our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. A win would do a lot. And look, we've all looked at the schedule. I just went down the schedule about a half hour ago, and it's a real possibility. I mean, this team could start 1-6, 2-5 if they're not careful. That's why I think this game is really big.
2-5, they might be delighted. Really, seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's murderer's row.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why this game is so important. But again, I look at both these teams and how they handled their preseasons this year. Both teams played their starters more in the games. They both actually, tackled during the preseason, during the scrimmages and the workouts with the other teams, and even up in Berea, they were taking guys down to the ground. What do you expect to see some kind of improvement, at least as far as that goes? That they actually came out and played football before the season started, get them ready.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it was Mike Tomlin made the comment. They call it tackle football for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You got to tackle. You got to get in there and you got to get knocked down. And if somebody gets hurt, you don't want that, but you got to play these guys. So I think teams are going to be further ahead. I mean, you look at the history of anything in this country. It sways back and forth, but everybody was going to do this, and then they too much of that, so they swayed back and forth. It was used to play the guys all the time in the preseason. And now you don't play them, and now guys are finding, hey, we get, to the first game, and it's like a first preseason game. Nobody knows what they're doing. They're not yet playing at game speed because they haven't had it, because you're playing at practice speed. So I think whatever you can get in there, if you can get in and get out and not get hurt, that helps tremendous. So I think you're going to see a crisper game from both teams. The Bengals learned that lesson, and I think the Browns have, they've learned that lesson as well, because they got off such a horrible start last year, and the season got away from them, and there was nothing that they can do. And the only way you learn how to play football is to play football. You can't be stupid about it. You don't want to, play 3 quarters like they did back in the day, but you also don't want to, go into the game unprepared, because you get 17 chances and you can't just fritter one away at the start or 2 and then expect to be where you want to be, because there's 17 chances. They all count.
They do, and they you got to cherish them, because they come and go in the blink of an eye. Steve, as always, appreciate the time. Hoping for a great game, a fun afternoon on Sunday, and hopefully a Cleveland Browns win. Always appreciate your time, and we'll be checking you out on Browns Daily Dose. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sam. Appreciate it.
There you go. Steve King, Browns Daily Dose, breaking it down here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. All right, Sam Bourquin Show, poll question of the day. How many games do the Cleveland Browns win? How many games do they win this year? 1? 4? Do they win over 5? Do they go crazy and win like 9 or 10? What can I put you down for? How many wins for the Cleveland Browns in the 2025 season? I know it's tough. It's tough to prognosticate. It's tough to predict. There's so many variables. There's health. There's weather. There's injuries. There's trades. There's issues. It's a long season. In the start to the Browns season, on paper, looks really challenging. It does. If you can beat Cincinnati, I think that's going to help a long way. Culture, excitement, attitude, all those things. But if you lose to Cincinnati, you lose to Baltimore, and then that feeling of, oh boy, here we go. And then you're looking at 1-6, 2-5. And then you're playing behind the sticks again. That's when it gets tough. But we'll see. Hey, we're just getting started on Sunday. Long way to go. We'll take a break. News and weather coming up here at the top of the hour. We've got one more big hour to go. Don't forget Antonio Hall, talking ball with Hall at 5:35 today, the high school football scene. We've got On This Day in Sports History. We'll get back to the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. We'll check in on the college football top 25, Mount Union, the Guardians in action tonight, and a whole lot more. Stay with us, everybody. 1310 WDPN.
News, weather, sports, local information, and music 24 hours a day. This is AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
News. I'm Chuck Sievertson. Florida aims to end all vaccine mandates, even for school kids. State Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo.
Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery.
Former CDC Chief Dr. Richard Besser says Florida's move puts children at risk and any others around them with underlying medical conditions. Survivors of the 2023 Maine mass shooting are suing the federal government, saying the Army should have stopped one of its reservists from carrying out the massacre. 18 people killed, including Cynthia Young's husband and child.
Some of us have lost the ability to feel safe or secure. But one thing we all lost was our trust in those who are responsible.
For the first time since April 2021, unemployed Americans outnumber job openings, says a Labor Department report. It says employers posted 7.2 million job openings at the end of July, fewer than predicted. This is ABC News.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Oh, I can't believe we blew a 5-touchdown lead.
Sure, but you got to feel like they were going to win for almost the entire game.
But I was about to buy playoff tickets.
So you were prepared for a good time. That's pretty nice.
It's the worst loss any team has ever had.
And you got to witness history.
Okay, we're done here.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
School's back in session, and if your kids still need something for back to school, then you should get to Macy's now. Come in and find everything on your list, like Active from Nike and Jordan, denim from Levi's and Good American, plus complete looks from Abercrombie Kids too. Even furniture and mattresses at our lowest prices of the season, just for your college student who still needs something for their room. It's all in one place, all at great prices, and it's all here now at Macy's.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. A death in Canton is being investigated as a homicide. Police responded to the 1600 block of St. Elmo Avenue Northeast around 6 p.m. Tuesday. The body of 41-year-old Jake Young was found in his home. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office is conducting an autopsy. A neighbor reported finding Young's body. He told officers he had gone to the home to meet the man and found the back door open. He also said the doorbell camera had been removed and was lying in the front yard. 2 additional mosquito samples in Alliance have tested positive for West Nile virus. The city health department says they were notified of the results by the Ohio Department of Health. The samples were collected on the southern edge of Alliance. A sample from the same area tested positive last month. The health department recently treated those areas for mosquitoes and will conduct another round of targeted spraying throughout the city. West Nile is the leading mosquito-borne illness in the continental United States. Multiple positive cases were previously reported in the Canton area. No human cases have been reported in Stark County. Concerns are being raised about conditions at Lionel Newsom Tower in downtown Alliance. During Tuesday's council meeting, Councilwoman Sheila Cherry cited water in the basement, instances of black mold, and faulty repairs to the 8-story building's elevator. Some complaints of the East Main Street property stretch back 2 or 3 years, while others have been ongoing for a decade. Mayor Andy Grove says code enforcement will be asked to investigate. The city has a contract with Stark County Fair Housing. Cherry says the agency's representative is being brought in to help address residents' concerns. A Jackson Township man has been acquitted of a grand theft charge stemming from allegations he stole computer equipment from Metalis. The Stark County Common Pleas Court jury found 37-year-old Matthew Eberly not guilty August 26th. He was indicted in February. Eberly was accused of stealing over $21,000 worth of computer hardware and software from the company's Perry Township plant in December 2024. The thefts were captured on the company's video cameras. Eberly is no longer working for Metalis. Smith Township trustees handle miscellaneous business. Tuesday, the board approved an ordinance for the second phase of a road resurfacing project involving Oyster Road from West Middletown Road north to North Benton West. The township will pay about 60% of the cost, or roughly $230,000. The remainder will be covered by the Ohio Public Works Commission. Trustees agreed to give the village of Sebring $5,000 toward the purchase of a tanker truck and accessories for the fire department. The money comes from police and fire accounts. The board passed a resolution to accept an opioid settlement through Mahoning County. They also announced Trunk or Treat will be held at Beloit Park October 25th from 6:30 to 8:30. A Portage County Sheriff's deputy and a Cleveland police officer are charged with unlawful restraint and ethnic intimidation. Daniel LeJack and Donald Kopchak allegedly took a man outside the Buzzards Roost in Hinckley while off duty last April, pinned him to the ground, and took his phone and wallet. A responding Brunswick police officer told the suspects the man was a valid U.S. citizen from the African country of Eritrea and had a valid license to drive a truck. LeJack, who was a Lake County narcotics agent, resigned from the job but was hired by the Portage County Sheriff's Office weeks later. Kopchak remains on the Cleveland Department after being put on restricted duties. The pair was indicted by a Medina County grand jury. Columbiana police say a man got out of his vehicle safely during an incident involving a train. WKBN-TV reports it occurred around 9 p.m. Tuesday at a crossing at South Elm Street. The area was temporarily closed to traffic. A car appeared to have damage on its rear end and was stopped adjacent to one of the train tracks. The train was stopped on a track parallel to the vehicle. The Liverpool Township Fire Department has a new fire chief following the firing of his predecessor. Former Chief Mike Behan was appointed to replace Dave Ward. The Morning Journal reports trustees terminated Ward Tuesday following an executive session. 2 incidents last month led to his suspension. He was accused of getting into a shouting match with his assistant chief when they didn't answer him on the radio while putting out a fire. Ward also dismissed 2 of his firefighters from a scene, but no reason was given. Trustees said Ward failed to address the matter. He can request a pre-disciplinary conference within 10 days. Canfield police and humane agents are investigating after the discovery of 18 dead cats and 1 dead dog today. Animal Charity of Ohio says the animals were found in a house on Hilltop Boulevard. They had been dead for some time. The house was recently purchased at auction. Agents say there are 2 suspects in the case. They have not been identified. A Mahoning County judge has handed down punishment to a teen for a shooting that wounded 2 people. Common Pleas Judge Maureen Sweeney today sentenced 18-year-old Nabil Allen to 6 to 7.5 years in prison. He pleaded guilty in July to 2 counts of attempted murder and an unrelated count of aggravated robbery. Allen was originally charged as a juvenile. The shooting occurred in August 2024 at an apartment complex on Robinwood Place in Youngstown. The aggravated robbery charge stemmed from a February 2024 incident. The city of Youngstown has been ordered to pay a fine for not finishing a $240 million sewer improvement project on time. A district court judge ruled the city missed deadlines for upgrading its main treatment plant and a sewer project at Mill Creek. The EPA filed the complaint over how the city discharges its raw sewage. An agreement in 2002 said the city would spend $12 million in short-term improvements and $100 million over 20 years, along with developing a long-term plan. The judge ruled the contract stated increased costs were not an excuse for missing deadlines, and the city failed to provide written notice of unforeseen events that could cause delays. The city has 30 days to pay. The money will be divided between the state and federal governments. Claudia Herrig will get consideration from the U.S. Supreme Court for a further appeal of her 2019 conviction and sentence for killing her husband. The case was placed on the docket with the decision whether to consider by January. Herrig was found guilty of aggravated murder and sentenced to life with the possibility of parole in 2044. Authorities said she shot Air Force Major Carl Herrig in their Newton Falls home in 2007, emptied their bank account, and fled to her native Brazil. She was extradited to Trumbull County in 2018. Herrig claimed several constitutional violations, including a claim of sudden passion. She argues she killed her husband in a crime of passion after being the victim of domestic abuse. The Guernsey County Sheriff's Office is investigating a stabbing that occurred Monday. Deputies found a 54-year-old male outside a Beale Road home with a non-life-threatening leg wound. He was taken to a local hospital for treatment. A 36-year-old woman was taken into custody at the scene. The Sheriff's Office says she bragged about the stabbing to another occupant at the home. Detectives were called to the scene to gather further evidence. Guernsey County Sheriff Jeffrey Payton says the investigation is ongoing. The woman remains in custody at the county jail pending criminal charges. The Highway Patrol reported 23 deaths and 20 crashes between Friday and Monday. According to the patrol, at least 4 of the crashes were OVI related. Over the holiday weekend, troopers arrested 398 motorists for impaired driving and 67 for drug-related charges. In fatalities where a seatbelt was available, 7 drivers were unbelted. Troopers issued more than 1,800 safety belt citations. In total, troopers responded to 490 crashes, issued more than 1,300 citations for distracted driving, and provided assistance to more than 1,500 motorists. The Highway Patrol encourages drivers to report drug activity and dangerous or impaired driving by calling 677. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 45,271, down 25 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 218 points higher at 21,497, and the S&P 500 closed at 6,448, up 34 points. It's 81 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Sunshine for this afternoon with a high near 82 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low 59. Thursday, an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms and a high near 67. For Friday, mostly sunny skies, a high 78. Saturday, a chance of showers early, otherwise partly sunny, a high of 68. That's your WDPN weather.
High school football back on the AM 1310 WDPN airwaves Friday night from Streetsboro as the Rockets welcome in the visiting Alliance Aviators. Hi, this is Sam Bourquin. Join me and my partner, Caleb Norick, on Friday night from Streetsboro as the Rockets take on the high-flying Alliance Aviators. Pregame begins at 6:30 and the kickoff begins at 7 p.m. It's Alliance. It's Streetsboro. It's right here on AM 1310 WDPN.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
9-7. Line drive, right center. That's going to get 2 home. Trevor Story heading for second base. 2-run score. And the Red Sox open it up. All sorts of breathing room. 11-7.
Hitters. Get out of here, ball. Get out of here.
Towering fly ball to left center, and can you believe it? George Springer has done it again.
Left center field,
Sit down.
and that will get down and split Conforto and Paez, and that's going to score 2. Jared Triolo brings home a pair with his second double of the night. Gives the Buccos a 7-4 lead.
Here's Tucker out to left field. Going back to the track. It's gone!
High fly ball. Altuve back on the track, looking up. See ya! A grand slam for Grisham. His magical season continues. It's 6-0 Yanks.
The Yankees would go on to win last night. Who cares? Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, everybody. How we doing, Alliance? How we doing, Northeast Ohio? How we doing, world? Welcome in. AM 1310 WDPN. You can watch and listen on our WDPN Facebook page, our X page, our Q92 radio page on YouTube. You can listen. You can watch. You can drop comments. You can let us know what's going on. You can ask questions. We'll make you a big part of the program. That's what we are here for. 13 minutes past the hour. We got an hour to go. Don't forget, Talking Ball with Hall, Antonio Hall from Q92 Sports coming up at 5:35 today. We'll talk a little high school football with the big fella. That'll be at 5:35. On this day in sports history, coming up here in about 15, 20 minutes. And, of course, we got the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. How many games will the Browns win this season? Let us know on all of our social media platforms. Guardians back in action against the Red Sox tonight. First pitch at Fenway at 6:45. Let's see here. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, high school football coming up Friday night here on WDPN. Alliance at Streetsboro. Pregame at 6:30. The kick at 7 from Streetsboro Community Stadium. I'll be up there with my partner, Caleb Norick. Friday night, Alliance in Streetsboro. High school football here on 1310 WDPN. Mount Union will play Saturday afternoon at 1. I'll be there to call that one as well with Ryan Bevere. 12:45 pregame Saturday. The kick at 1. Mount Union taking on the Wheaton Thunder. So a big weekend. Of course, the Browns and Bengals coming up on Sunday. So lots of stuff going on. Plus some other little stuff going on we'll get into here the rest of the show as well. Let's hit the phones. 330-821-1310. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show on a Wednesday. Good afternoon.
Hey, Sam.
Yes.
I hope you're having a great day today.
So far, so good. So far, so good. How about you?
So I want to know your thoughts on the news that has broken today out of the Mahoning Valley.
You talking about Youngstown Ursuline?
Yes.
Yeah, that actually broke yesterday. We talked about it a lot yesterday. And matter of fact, we didn't break it, but with our friends over at WFMJ in Youngstown broke it, and we kind of took it from there. We talked about it for a couple hours yesterday. And I see that the OHSAA they said that they are aware, but they cannot comment on anything because it's the matter than it is. But yeah, I mean, I read the story. I read a lot of the lawsuit that was filed. There was some really sickening, disturbing things that were a part of that lawsuit. And there's video. I mean, I don't see how Youngstown Ursuline comes out of this in a good light at all. And I assume there's going to be some major changes if this stuff is all proven in the court of law. And it certainly looks like mounds and mounds of evidence is there.
Oh, yes. And I'll tell you what, now there's a huge calling now. And I just spoke with an attorney about an hour ago concerning this. There is some push now to the OHSAA about possibly suspending their season.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that happened. Now, again, they're going to have, the facts, the evidence. There's got to be proof of the allegations. Obviously, if there's video, that goes a long way. And there was a lot of people named in that suit. But I could see, absolutely, I could see them just shutting it down. Absolutely.
And the sad part of it is, I really, really now am concerned about his past.
Coach Reardon?
I'm talking about Coach Reardon.
Yeah. Well,
and especially his days at McKinley.
If you follow the dots, he had a really, really good run at Ursuline, and then, he left. And he went to Arizona, and then he left, and then he came back to Ohio, took the job at McKinley, and then went back to Ursuline, and now. So I'm not going to point fingers. I know Dan personally. I've known Dan very, very well for quite a few years. I was as shocked as anybody to read this lawsuit and the fact that they may have had knowledge and kind of try to look the other way and told people to shut up about it. That's kind of disturbing. But yeah, I mean, there could be a whole line of stuff behind the proverbial curtain over the years that maybe we didn't know about.
Oh yeah, and just because you know an individual doesn't mean you know everything.
Sure. That's with everybody. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Sam. By the way, what did you think of my comment about Week 10?
100% agreed. 100% agreed. You had sent me a thing about for the first time in a long time, the McKinley-Massillon game, Week 10, there is a ton riding on it for both these programs, and I would agree with that. The last couple of years, I would have said no. This year, yes, because I think we're in for a heck of a day of football. I don't want to rush through the regular season because we got a long way to go. But I think the renewal of the War of 1894 is going to be really, really good this year.
And think about this, Sam. I think that this could be a good crowd this year.
I hope, because it's been a while.
And think about this.
It's been a while.
You realize that since Benson has been on the scene, there's not been one sellout for a high school football game.
No, not even close. Not even close.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
It is very sad.
I'm hoping that obviously Mother Nature, football fans, this, the football fans have become really fickle the last 5 or 10 years. Very well, there's a little rain or it's a little windy and everybody's looking for an excuse not to go. But I will say this: if Massillon and McKinley both come in, and I think that they will, I think there's a real good opportunity here for Massillon to come in, with 8 wins or so, maybe 9, I don't know. And I think McKinley, from what I saw on film against St. Augustine, I thought they played pretty well against a really good football program at a very high level. I'm expecting McKinley to maybe come in there with maybe 8 wins. And if it's a nice day and people are feeling it and they think that the rivalry is kind of returned to where it should have been, yes, I think you'll have a very nice crowd. Now, you're never going to sell that game out again, ever.
No.
But if you could get 12, 13, that would be fantastic. I mean, legitimate 12 or 13. That would be fantastic. But you're never going to see 16, 17, 20,000 ever again. You just won't.
Unless a car dealership's giving a car away, and everybody has to be in attendance.
There we go. Now we got to bribe people to come to games. I know. That's where we're at. I get it.
No, but I'll tell you what. I really seriously question now about the way some of these schools hire people, and I think they really need to look more carefully at people's backgrounds.
Yeah, the vetting process has to improve, sure, because hey, look at it this way: with the social media today and all the real news outlet, the real media outlets, and then the wannabe outlets that are all out there trying to get stuff and put it out there so they get clicks and they get comments and they get this and that. There's so much out there now. The people that are doing the hiring and the interviewing, you better do your due diligence, because if you don't, it might come back to bite you. And maybe that happened here. I don't know. I'm going to wait till this whole thing plays out. But I know it's not looking good for a lot of the coaches, the players, the students, the administration at Youngstown Ursuline. And, man, if it comes crumbling down, it's going to come crumbling down in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you what. I'm now already seeing some national legal people now coming on the scene for this one.
Trying to get their name in the bright lights, huh? Interesting. Yep. I wonder if I'm not sure. I'm not up on all the rules as far as transferring and situations and things like that. But I could see a lot of kids packing up and getting out of there. And wanting to transfer somewhere else and still keep their eligibility. Now, I don't know how that works, or if they went to another parochial school or a public school or whatever. I don't know how all that works, because it seems like to me the goalposts get moved every year as far as the rules and regulations with the OHSAA. But I would not be surprised if a lot of players on that team say, that's it. I don't want to be a part of this. I'm out of here.
And what can what can the OHSAA really do about it? They can't do anything about this, because this is
it's touchy. It's a touchy situation for sure.
Yeah, they're going to have to change their thinking on this one.
Well, we will follow it. That's for sure. Appreciate the call, Henry. Thanks for listening.
Yep. Take care.
There you go. Yep. That'll be interesting to follow the situation over at Youngstown Ursuline. And I'm going to talk to Antonio about that today too, just a little bit. We're mostly going to keep it. We'll look at week 2, look at week 3, but of Antonio being a coach and being the father of a high school players, being in an administrative position. I want to pick his brain on that a little bit and see what he says.
We got a comment from Jeff on YouTube that he says, "I feel good about our defense. He goes 6 wins."
Okay. All right,
I wanted
Jeff.
to throw that out there because you keep telling people to bring an argument. He brought an argument.
Yeah. Just tell me if you think the Browns are going to win more than 5 or 6. I got to have some juice. You got to tell me why you think. And you think you feel good about the defense. And okay, I appreciate the comment.
He's not wrong. We've been talking offense all day. He's the first person to mention the defense,
Well, if they can stay healthy, Denzel Ward gets injured a lot. We're banking on a rook, Schlesinger out of UCLA, to kind of lead the charge here a little bit. We lost, MJ Stewart before the year even started. So, I'm good on the defense, but I think there could be some challenges there too. The latest on the Sam Bourquin Show poll on X right now. How many games do you think the Browns will win this year? 62% say between 3 and 5 games. 23% say between 6 and 9. 8% think 1 to 2 wins. 8% think the Browns will win 10 or more. Where do you sit? How do you feel? How many wins realistically for the Browns this year? 330-821-1310, or let us know on our social media platforms. I'm still sitting at 5. I think Vegas has got it right on the money. They got it at 5.5. Browns win 5, you take the under, you win. Browns win 6, you take the over, you win. But that's numbers perfect. It really is. But I know a lot of Browns fans, they will look at that number and go, oh, come on, 5.5. All they got to do is win 6. That's the thinking. And they'll jump all over that. They'll take the over. I think you're gonna be disappointed. But who knows? We haven't even started yet. Right? We played 3 practice games. And believe me, those are what they are. They are true exhibitions. There's no scheming. There's no real game planning that goes in. A lot of guys that played in the preseason aren't even in the NFL anymore. You got to take that. You got to take that into effect. You have to. The Browns finished 3-0. What does that mean? Nothing. It's nothing. It'll mean stuff on Sunday by about 4:00. We'll see. But I do have a suspicion that this game is going to be wild and woolly as far as the points are concerned. And if it's going to be a fast track and it looks like it's going to be a nice day, I think the offenses will be on fire. I would almost guarantee you. Boy, I hate making guarantees on a Wednesday. I think somebody hits 40. I think somebody scores at least 40 on Sunday. I believe that. I believe it with all my heart. But we'll see. I've been wrong before. Not much, but I've been wrong before. All right, here we go. On this day in sports history, let's go back to 1966. Bobby Orr of the Boston Bruins. You know what he did? He signed his first NHL contract. Listen to these numbers. Now, this is 1966, remember. He signed a 2-year deal, paid him $70,000, plus a signing bonus. That gave Orr the top salary in all of the hockey world. On this day in 1986, the Astros beat the Cubs 8-7 in 18 innings. Now, the game ended after 14 innings were played. The two teams had a record 53 players play the day before. Astros beat the Cubs 8-7. On this day in 1999, Mario Lemieux, his ownership group officially took over the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins. Lemieux became the first player in the modern era of sports to buy the team that he once played for. That was a cool story. Quick side note here. I was a baseball, football, basketball guy, and I loved hockey. First time I saw, and I had to read that name, I called him Mario Lemieux. And I felt like the biggest idiot of all time. On this day in 2000, Kenny Lofton tied a Major League record when he scored in his 18th consecutive game. 2001, who remembers Bud Smith? I don't. He became the 16th Major League rookie to throw a no-hitter. It was in his 11th career start. Now, how about this? On this day in 1970, a sad day, Vince Lombardi died of cancer at the age of 57. How about this? Go back to 1970, and there was a story and a little tribute by one of the greatest broadcasters of all time, the late, great Paul Harvey.
It is a gray day in Green Bay, Wisconsin. A city which shouted itself hoarse for the teams of Vince Lombardi today speaks his name in whispered prayers. The sun always shone on Packer Sundays. They called it Lombardi weather. They said the town ran on Lombardi time, 15 minutes ahead of everywhere else. And elsewhere, in an era in which many sought to deify the common man, some of us continued to thrill to the accomplishments of the uncommon ones, Rockney, Leahy, Bud Wilkinson, Bear Bryant, and the incomparable Vince Lombardi. Lombardi had been a law student, you know, and then a teacher of chemistry and Latin. You realize he didn't become a head coach until he was 46, and he died at 57.
That was the late, great Paul Harvey talking about On This Day in Sports History when we lost one of the best, Vince Lombardi. That is On This Day in Sports History. We'll take a break. News and weather coming up next, 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. Florida plans to become the first state to eliminate vaccine mandates that have been a cornerstone of public health policy for decades in keeping school children and citizens safe from infectious diseases. State Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo describes current vaccine requirements as an immoral intrusion on rights. He argues that parents should make health decisions for their children. Physician groups maintain that vaccines are safe and essential for preventing disease spread. Democrat State Representative Anna Escamani echoes those concerns, calling the move a public health disaster in the making. Rallies are being held in Washington today from survivors and others asking for the full public release of the files related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. A bipartisan group of lawmakers are pushing for legislation that would force the Justice Department to release all the files. So far, the DOJ has only released some documents to the House Oversight Committee. House Speaker Mike Johnson is lukewarm on releasing the files, saying it's about victim privacy. In Washington, a group of Epstein survivors are sharing stories and petitioning lawmakers to support the full release. One of those victims is Liz Stein.
I loved people, and people genuinely enjoyed being around me. But after meeting Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, it felt like someone shut off the lights to my soul.
Epstein died in 2019 in a death that was ruled suicide while awaiting his federal sex trafficking trial. A woman dubbed the Ketamine Queen has pleaded guilty to selling Matthew Perry the ketamine that killed him. Yasmin Sangha became the fifth and final defendant charged in the overdose death of the Friends star to plead guilty today after an agreement with federal prosecutors. The plea means the 42-year-old will avoid a trial that had been planned for later this month. Prosecutors cast Sangha as a prolific drug dealer who sought to sell especially to celebrities and other wealthy customers. According to court documents, she sold Perry 25 vials of ketamine 4 days before his death from an overdose of the drug. The man accused of shooting and killing an 11-year-old boy who knocked on a neighbor's door in a game of ding-dong doorbell ditch was in a Houston courtroom today. ABC's Alex Stone says we are learning more about the alleged crime.
42-year-old Gonzalo Leon Jr. now given $1 million bail by a Harris County judge. In new court documents obtained by ABC News, it's revealed 11-year-old Julian Guzman was at a birthday party with family on Saturday night when a group of children got bored and went out to doorbell ditch. After knocking on Leon's door, they say he came out with a gun and followed them firing. Guzman was hit in the back and collapsed, later dying at a hospital. Alex Stone, ABC News.
It's 80 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Forecast for this afternoon calling for sunshine and a high near 82 degrees. Partly cloudy skies tonight, a low 59. Thursday, an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 67. For Friday, mostly sunny, a high near 78. Saturday, a chance of showers in the morning, otherwise partly sunny, a high 68. That's your WDPN weather.
High school football back on the AM 1310 WDPN airwaves Friday night from Streetsboro as the Rockets welcome in the visiting Alliance Aviators. Hi, this is Sam Bourquin. Join me and my partner, Caleb Norick, on Friday night from Streetsboro as the Rockets take on the high-flying Alliance Aviators. Pregame begins at 6:30 and the kickoff begins at 7 p.m. It's Alliance. It's Streetsboro. It's right here on AM 1310 WDPN. And we're back, 1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. We got another half hour left to go. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be talking college ball, pro ball, with outstanding sports handicapper Ross Benjamin from wagertalk.com. That'll be tomorrow at 4:35 right here on AM 1310 WDPN. We'll get you ready for a big weekend of football. We love our Thursdays. We also love our Wednesdays. You know why? We get to talk to the big man, Q92 Radio Sports. Here's the walk-up music. Let's welcome in Antonio Hall to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Antonio! How are you, buddy?
We're jamming today. I've been waiting to hear that theme music. Can you hear me?
There we got you.
Gotcha.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
The most important thing, I wanted to make sure you heard your theme music.
Yes, it sounds great.
Okay, good. That's all about it. All right, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.
I got
That's
distracted. That was my bad. I was so excited for him to hear his awesome music that I
Rensburg
set
got
up
all excited.
that I forgot to turn him up.
To hit
So
the button. See what you do over here, big fella. You get us all excited about music. I love it. All right, so here we go. It's week 3 already.
Already.
We see some bullet points over today, and we were on the same page as far as what to kind of get into here a little bit and then kind of spread it around as we start to wrap things up. But first of all, the Fairless Falcons and the start that they've gotten off to, in the way they play the game of football, the way AJ coaches, and the way they score and they do things. How impressed, Antonio, are with you the way the Falcons have gotten out of the blocks this year?
Man, the Fighting Starballs look great. You have a team last year who were full of sophomores and freshmen struggling, taking their lumps. Fast forward a year, they've developed, they've gotten stronger, they've gotten closer as a team, and it's showing on the football field. Outscoring their opponents 85-13 in the first 2 games. I got to see the first game against Sandy Valley, and just what they do with that offense. AJ does a great job game planning. He does a great job using motion, trying to create mismatches in the run game as well as the pass game, identifying coverages with his motion, and just how versatile they are on their attack. I love his offensive strategy. I love his game plan. Jack Kirby, their running back, is a dude. Cam Carl, you better not kick it to Cam Carl because it's going to the house. I've seen him return 2 in 1 game. So, I mean, they're doing great down there in Fairless. AJ, keep it up.
Yeah, they are doing well, and they love football. It's a great atmosphere, and I think every time, Antonio, they go out and they get a win, that just amps it up a little bit more the following week, and then they really start getting down to business about week 5 or week 6, and who knows, they can make a nice little run this year, the Fairless Falcons. Also, we also agreed on this one. How about the Perry Panthers in the start that they are off to? Now, I looked at the schedule, and I said, okay, you played Division V Central Catholic. Crusaders lost their starting quarterback midway through, but Perry, I thought, came out of the blocks and really played well. Last week, They beat St. V 36-0. Obviously, the Irish are down this year, but this is a new thing for Perry. It's a new coaching staff. It's a new way of doing things. They are throwing the forward pass in 2025. So, hey, all is right with the world in the PTO, right?
They've caught up with the times. Right. Nothing against the wing tee at all. I've had to defend it many a times, and it sucks. But the fact that now they're very aggressive on offense. But it starts with the offensive line. It starts with the line. Perry's offensive line is averaging 265 pounds across the front, anchored by number 77, Preston Daisy, going to Toledo. These guys play with attitude. They open up lanes the size of I-77. They have a bunch of two-way dogs on their team. Really impressed with running back and linebacker Connor Shepard. I mean, this guy runs like Allstott. He hits like Romanowski. He loves playing for his teammates, full of energy, great guy. And they also have tremendous skill this year. And Perry has always had linemen. They've always had some tough running backs, but they've lacked in the skill department. This year they have skill to go around, led by number 17, Nasir Foster. He's getting it done on offense, on defense, in the return game. He's one of the most electrifying athletes you're going to see in Stark County this year.
You know, you mentioned Preston Daisy, and I don't know if you got a chance to watch Perry play basketball at all the last couple of years. He helped get them to the state Final Four this year in the state championship game. And he is nimble. He is quick. He can move side to side. He's a beast on that offensive line. He really is, Antonio. And I think the ceiling is really high for him, don't you?
I do, for that very reason that you alluded to, Sam, his athleticism. Yeah, there's a lot of guys with size, there's a lot of strong guys, but he's a great a combination of size and athleticism, and he plays with that attitude you want to see out of those great offensive linemen coming from Perry. But we can't forget about their defense. Mm-hmm. Their defense is playing lights out. Coach Lino being a defensive guy, a guy who I've had to play against several times when he was at Massillon, does a great job with that 3-4 scheme, with his Okie front, with his fire zones. Coach Lino does a great job. They have 5 turnovers in 2 games, so you can't forget about the defense.
Antonio Hall is our guest. We are talking ball with Hall, Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, and we're going to do it every Wednesday throughout the football season at 5:35. So make sure you're telling a friend and telling them to tune in and watch us here on the Sam Bourquin Show with Antonio Hall every Wednesday at 5:35. So we talk about Perry. It's back on the road now. They're going to be going over to Mollenkopf, and that's a hornet's nest over there. I don't care what kind
place
of
to
team
play.
they got. Yeah, so Warren Harding is waiting. They're coming off a win against Buchtel where they weren't very good in the first half, but they finished strong and they beat Buchtel. They put 2 or 3 touchdowns on the board in the fourth quarter to get their record to 1-1 on the season. But what do you expect, Perry Warren on the road Friday night?
I know Matty Rich is doing a great job building that Warren program. I actually got to talk to Coach Shepis today, and he might join me on the air during halftime of the game this Friday. But, they just love what Coach Rich is doing over there. And you've seen them grow over the past year. They have tremendous size. They got some big boys up front. I think their special teams are going to make a difference in this game. If you watch the first game against McKinley, their first 4 scores were field goals. They have tremendous return men. If you kick it to their return men, they're going to take it to the house. They're special back there. So I think that Warren could make a go for this game if they can capitalize on the advantage they have in special teams. I think it's going to be Perry's biggest challenge to date, obviously. I mean, the first game was 2 minutes away. The second game is at home. Now you're going an hour away, hostile environment against some big, strong kids just like yourself. So it's going to be a fun game to call.
Yep, and you'll be on the call with Keller on the Q92 Radio Sports Network Friday night from Mollenkopf, the kickoff at 7 p.m. Want to pick your brain about the Bulldogs again this week, and specifically, I know that they lost, but St. Who the heck did they play? St. Augustine out of New York. Oh, my God, Antonio. 6'4", 6'5", 280, 290, 310 across the line. Those guys were mean and nasty. And I thought the Bulldogs battled and they hung in there. And I think they're going to be much better off, even though they lost that game, because the competition, I think they'll learn a lot.
I think so, too. That team reminded me a lot of the Cass Tech team we played last year from Detroit. I mean, those guys have 14 Division I. They had 14 guys with Division I offers, won the state championship, but we were battle tested coming out of that game. Same this year. They played with tremendous heart. Although they got down 24-0, they battled back, put 2 scores on the board. They boned up on defense late in the game. So I think they did a lot of growth, both individually and collectively as a team during this game. And you're right, it's going to pay off moving to weeks 3, 4, and 5.
Antonio Hall is our guest, Q92 Sports, talking ball with Hall here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Big man, there was a lot of blowouts in our area last week, and I think 3, maybe 4 went running clock. Jackson had a difficult night at Fitch. I think they might be down to their 3rd-string quarterback now. As a coach, how do you handle that with your staff and your kids, knowing that maybe your 1 and 2 signal caller not going to be able to go? You're only into week 3, and there's some adversity. What would you tell your team?
This game, just like life, thrives on adversity. Nothing's ever going to go your way. Nothing's ever going to be ideal. When you wake up in the morning, everything is not going to go your way. So what you have, the resolve you have as a young man, as a young woman, as a coach, that's going to be tested. And when you have a game like that, when things don't go your way, you get blown out, you lose your 2nd quarterback in 2 weeks, I know Coach Rohr is getting that locker room ready to play this game. I know they've had a tremendous week of practice because I know how Coach Rohr is built. I know the game plan is going to be solid. But as a coach, you challenge your guys to respond to what happened last week.
It was tough. It was a big road trip, and I know that Jackson had come off with a couple of pretty good wins. They won without their starter week 2, and I thought, okay, maybe we're onto something here. But they ran into a buzzsaw at Fitch, and again, that's a completely different place to play over there. And it was
lying.
Glen Oak and Maslin, Antonio. That one went kind of way we thought that it would. 44-3 at halftime, and that's pretty much how it ended. Let me pick your brain on Coach Moore now as he gets his guys ready for, I think a lot of their games now are going to be against teams from outside the state of Ohio. Yep. And then Scott Garcia's bunch, they've had a rough couple of weeks. They were hoping to be a little bit better. Give me a couple of nuggets on each side of the fence there, if you could.
Yeah, I mean, Master's program definitely is one of the most upper echelon in the state, if not the country. The way that the whole community is bought into the program, the whole community supports the program, the way that football is focused and emphasized over there is pretty much second to none. And Coach Moore does a great job of not only coaching players, but coaching coaches. So their program continues to thrive. Glen Oak, they lost some seniors last year, especially at the skill position. So they're trying to replace some guys in the backfield and one or two up front. They have a new offensive coordinator, so the new scheme is ironing itself out. And people don't realize when you do have a new offensive scheme, offensive philosophy, it takes a while to develop. Offenses progress a lot slower than defenses do because there's more to it. Defenses are always ahead of the game as the season starts because defense, as long as you have your gap, as long as you don't give up contain, as long as you run to the football, generally everything is okay. Offense, a lot more moving parts, a lot more terminology, a lot more game planning and really trying to focus and isolate where you want to attack the defense. So, I expect them to struggle a little bit out the gate, but I anticipate them picking up moving into this week and in the Federal League play.
Antonio Hall is our guest. We're talking ball with Hall. We do it every Wednesday, 5:35 here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. All right, I want to get to, we're going to talk about a couple of local kids that are going to be on the NFL gridiron coming up this weekend. And we speak of Dominic Robinson and Harold Fannin Jr. And I didn't mention this to you during our little texting today, and I apologize, but if you're not comfortable with it, completely understand. I know you know the situation that's going on over in Youngstown, Ursuline, the big news that was dropped yesterday. Just your thoughts on that, if it's inside the program, if you're looking at it from outside the program. Again, we don't know all the information, but how do you navigate through that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been through a very public situation like that, and still having to maintain a level of focus within to try to accomplish what your team set out to do. So whatever happened or didn't happen, it's an extremely unfortunate situation for the families, for the school, for the team. It's just so unfortunate. And really, as a football team, you're trying to block all that out for a couple hours a day and just focus on something positive. Focus on something that's going to unite you. Focus on something that's bigger than yourself. But it's extremely hard when you have all that going on around you. And I just pray for everyone involved, and pray that whatever happens, the resolution gets done in a relatively timely and painless fashion, because a whole community is affected when something like that happens.
Yeah, no doubt. Couldn't have said it better myself. Antonio Hall is our guest. All right, let's get to something that's really cool and really fun. And we can all put our chest a little bit out here and talking about football, the 330 in Stark County, and now the National Football League. How neat is it for Dominic Robinson, Harold Fannin Jr. to be on the gridiron, to get out there in the National Football League opening weekend, representing us here in the Stark County area? Everybody's got to be proud. Everybody should have a big smile on their face.
They should, because those two young men are carrying on a very, very, very long lineage and tradition of Stark County football players and coaches performing at the highest level. I know that they take great pride from being from this community. They take great pride in representing this community, and they take great pride in the professionals that they are. And just knowing the work that they put into, the sacrifices they've made to get to that point, I'm just so proud of them. I wish them both nothing but healthiness and happiness and dominance through this season. Dominic's a big year for him. It's the last year on his contract. So, it's a big year for him, and just keeping fingers crossed he stays healthy and does what he does, because he's one of the most dynamic people that you ever want to meet. I mean, his dad and mom did a phenomenal job raising him and his brothers. Just one of the great families in Stark County.
And I think also, Antonio, we can always, you can, what is it, the old, you can get there from here, right? Doesn't
get there from here. That's right. That's what Coach McD used to say all the time. Yeah. You can get there from here. And you're like, get where? Anywhere. Anywhere you want, because the foundation is laid right here. And so, Sam, that brings me to my quiz that I have for you.
I was going to almost try to avoid this quiz, but here we go.
No, sir. All right. Out of all, and there's a long list. Out of all the players or coaches that came from Stark County and played or coached for the Cleveland Browns, can you name 5 of them?
Ooh. Does the preseason count?
I think we have to get at least one snap of official football.
Okay, because Archie Herring from Perry was the guy that came to mind right away, but I don't know if Arch got on the field on Sundays.
Fair enough.
See, I'm already trying to cheat. Here we go. All right, from the Cleveland Browns. Oh, all right, coaches or players. And this is from just Stark County, right?
Just Stark County. I'll give you a layup. Paul Brown. That's Paul one.
Obviously from Maslin, yeah.
You got 4 more.
I got 4 more. Stark County. Okay, well, Josh, right, coach?
I don't think Josh coached for the Browns.
Oh, you're talking. I thought it was just the NFL. I'm sorry.
No, Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Cleveland Browns. All right, so we got Paul Brown in there. I'm gonna go with Stark County. Oh, why am I having? I feel like the lights are really bright. I feel like I'm on a TV show, and I'm just choking. I'm literally and I thought this was going to be easy. I'm spitting the bit right now in live radio. I need a couple of clues.
Okay, we'll go with current Cleveland Brown, Harold Fannin. Okay,
right. I got one. Marion Motley.
Yes, Marion Motley. Good job. One of my favorites. We need 2 more.
All right, so we got Harold Fannin Jr. We got Marion. We got Paul Brown. We need 2 more.
Think Glen Oak in Ohio State.
Glen Oak in Ohio State. Glen Oak in Ohio State. Played for coach of the Browns. Glen Oak in Ohio State.
Current offensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh, Brian Hartline.
Brian Hartline. There you go. He played a season or 2. Then think of Alliance, Ohio, Hall of Famer.
Lenny?
Yep.
All right. Lenny Dawson.
Len Dawson. In other words coming out, you got Nick Roman, Tom Gooseby, Ernie Fonts, Ray Ellis, Jamal Davis, and Jeff Logan. All those guys played for the Browns.
And Ray what predominantly with the Eagles, right? And then late his career. Okay. Man, that was a good quiz. I failed. I failed. I'm gonna have to go sit in the corner now. Thanks a lot.
It's fine. I failed a majority of my quizzes in college, so it's no big deal.
Antonio Hall, our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. I look forward to this every Wednesday at 5:35, and have a great call, a safe trip over to Warren, and we'll do it 7 days from now, okay?
Looking forward to it, brother.
You got it. There he goes. Antonio Hall joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Man, oh my God. I should be sent to the corner. I should. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll wrap things up here on 1310 WDPN.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
ugh, come on.
Seriously? This is so extra.
But what you could say is,
like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your local State Farm agent is available when and where you need them, online, over the phone, or even in person. State Farm agents are here to answer your questions and help you file your claim.
This is so extra.
Get someone who can actually help. Contact State Farm agent Rich Plack today.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
All right. Hey, thanks to Antonio Hall for joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show. We'll do that. We'll talk high school football. And now I'm going to give him a quiz next week. Ooh, wait till next week. I'm looking forward to that. Don't forget tomorrow also, our football sports handicapper, Ross Benjamin from wagertalk.com. He'll be joining us tomorrow to break down and handicap high school. God almighty. This isn't Steubenville. We're going to break down college and pro football games coming up this week. Tomorrow, 4:35, Ross Benjamin, wagertalk.com. He'll be with us all season long, by the way. So I know a lot of you will be interested in that, and I'm excited about that as well. All right, that's going to do it. Busy show today. Big show tomorrow. We'll be on the road at Streetsboro on Friday. We got Mount Union on Saturday. We got the Browns on Sunday. Let's go. Thanks to Ryan Rainsberg. Great job, as always, as our producer extraordinaire. Thanks to all of you for calling, emailing, texting, and commenting. Appreciate that. And we'll do it all over again tomorrow at 3 right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Get out there and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And remember, go Browns, go Bucks, go Guards, go Cavs. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
I can't